Man, oh, man. I wish we had just done that on the radio. Chris Hand and I are debating the debate. We're debating the debate. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know what? If you ever have any doubts that the hosts on this radio show, whether it be Dan Mandis or Chris Hand or Matt Murphy or Brian Wilson, truly are passionate about their belief systems and what they believe in, you should have experienced that. Chris and I were going after it on the debate last night. I mean, not going at in a friendly way, but we were going after it on the debate last night as to what its effectiveness was. I have a different take on it, and I have every respect in the world for Chris's take, but I have a slightly different take, and I'll tell you what that take is coming up in just a moment. It's 12:06. Good afternoon. Welcome in. It's Friday. It's the first day of December 2023. It's our episode 466 of the proceedings here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You can find us anywhere you stream information, anywhere you stream music, anywhere you stream whatever it is you stream us right there by going to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Type it into the search engine or the search bar on your Spotify, on your TuneIn, on your iHeart. I'm sure there are many, many others that this old man can't remember. And you can find us there. And we invite you to do that. You can also find us on Super Talk TV. Super Talk TV is up and running at YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. F&M Bank chat line is up and running as well, giving you the ability to speak back and speak truth to power. Do so by joining us there and watching my ugly face as we conduct a radio show for the next 3 hours. Mason Fleming is behind the glass in the absence of executive producer Bell Kay, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as possible. We appreciate him for his work this week. Thank him so much for everything he's done for us. Did you give us a nice title for the television episode today, Mason?
Yeah, I thought it was a nice conclusion to everything from yesterday.
Talk for a minute. Just keep talking.
It's been a good day. I had a great Thursday. Don't put me on the spot like this.
AKA Friday Eve.
Yeah, Friday Eve was great.
Look what I did for you there.
I appreciate it. You know what today is?
What's that?
It's Friday Day.
It's Friday Day on the Matt Murphy Show.
It's Friday Day on the Matt Murphy Show.
Well,
Freestyle Friday.
It'll be Friday coming up at 1:05. Jay St. Clair, our legal correspondent, will join us then. Until then, you and me on the telephones. First Amendment Freestyle Friday up and running. 615-737-9986. Your opinion, if you availed yourself of the debate last evening, your opinion of said same. So, Chris and I's discussion, and I want to carry it over because I think it's an important one and it's a good one to have. And I want to make sure everyone knows this. I have great respect for Chris Hand. I have great respect for his position on this. We differ in approach and outcomes, or I think we want the same outcome. We want a more conservative America. We want a better America for our children and our grandchildren. It's just all a matter of how to get there. And I just, I do not see Ron DeSantis as the enemy. While I understand that he is going to be dispatched of by Donald Trump over the next several months, that is baked into the cake. At the same time, Ron DeSantis is not your enemy. And if you're a conservative or a libertarian or a Republican, and those are three different things, and I'm one of them, and I'm not the other two. If you believe that DeSantis is your enemy, then we've already lost. Now, I understand that he doesn't necessarily have the charisma or the populist appeal of President Trump. And he might not have had the same level of personal charisma, although I thought Gavin Newsom failed on that front too. I watched the debate last night, and I thought this guy would come across as personable and likable. He came across as a Rick. And you can spell that with a silent P. You know what I'm saying? That's what he came off to me as. Now, maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Now, for the 20 or 25% of the audience that is dyed-in-the-wool leftist, those people are never going to get swayed by the concepts of ideas. But I believed that in the arena of ideas, with regard to foreign policy, with regard to immigration policy, with regard to American energy independence, with regard to crime and punishment, with regard to homelessness, on all of these fronts, DeSantis destroyed Gavin Newsom last night with the assist from Sean Hannity, but Newsom had to know that he was walking into that Sean Hannity was not going to necessarily engage in the debate and create a two-on-one, but he most certainly was going to frame questions from a conservative viewpoint that would make it a little more difficult for Gavin Newsom to lie and spin his way out of it. My point is this. Ron DeSantis is not going to be the presidential nominee in 2024. And for those of us who have long supported Donald Trump, that doesn't mean that he's the enemy. He can be quite useful in terms of his conservatism moving forward, creating an America that we can believe in. Now, some of you perhaps did not watch the debate last night. Never you fear. I've got an analysis for you. I thought that DeSantis out-prepared Newsom. I think Newsom thought that he could survive over the course of the 90 minutes on his basic, his wiles and his intelligence. And Gavin Newsom is a very smart guy. Sadly, what he had to do last night was an unwinnable task. What he came to do was to defend the record of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Pardon me, I don't want to get yelled at. If you watch the debate, the most fiery that Gavin Newsom got was when he felt like that Ron DeSantis mispronounced Kamala Harris's name. It's Kamala. It's Kamala. Have some respect. So let me say this. So I get why those who are predisposed to not care for Ron DeSantis. What I'm asking you to do is this. If you are a Trump person, and I am a Trump person, I will vote in the primary for Donald Trump. But if by hook or here's the litmus test. Here's the litmus test. If for whatever reason, and I don't want to speculate what the reason might be because some of that speculation would be macabre. But if for whatever reason Donald Trump is not your nominee in 2024 and it falls to Ron DeSantis, would you vote for him if he's running against Joe Biden? And if you hesitate, if you consider yourself a conservative or a Republican or a libertarian and you hesitate in that regard, I would question where your mind space is in the long game. Because the long game includes a country that doesn't have Donald Trump as president of it. The long game includes a country where Donald Trump is no longer a player in national politics. And while we might have those that we like and those that we don't like on the national stage, and maybe DeSantis is one of those that you hate. You just can't stand him. He's just awful. You don't like him for whatever reason. That's all well and good. But understand the country moves on. And the fight continues. And it is a natural predisposition to lose ground in this fight. Okay? Let me explain what I mean. The democratic process and the growth of the United States of America naturally predisposes us to lean on government for those things that are not the government's responsibility over time. Meaning the natural predisposition of a government like ours, a representative republic, is to eventually vote ourselves from the largesse of government, that which is not the government's responsibility. It is the natural dynamic of a government to grow. And if you, like me, believe in libertarian fundamentals of political activity, then you believe that we must do everything in our power to fight against that government growth every single day that we're on this earth. Because with government growth comes government control. With government control comes a degradation of our representative republic and eventually leads to socialism. That is my point. And that point is beyond a Donald Trump. It is beyond a Ron DeSantis. It is beyond a Gavin Newsom. It's beyond a Joe Biden. It is an existential conversation about the United States of America. So while I am a Trump supporter, while I believe in Donald Trump, while I believe that and I just noticed that 4872 said Trump now, DeSantis next. That's my fear, okay? If we continue to point our fingers at DeSantis as the enemy and not the real people that are the real enemy, those that are the existential threat to the future of the country as we know it, then we're going to lose. We're going to lose. Maybe not in 2024. but 2028 and beyond. Now, does that mean that I don't understand the frustrations with? And I don't want to speak for Chris because he just did his 3 hours and we had a great back and forth exchange, a little bit of a mini debate of our own about last night's proceedings and whatever. And once again, I reiterate how much respect I have for Mr. Hand. That said, I understand that he doesn't care for DeSantis and he believes that DeSantis is something of a, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think this is fair, kind of a wolf in sheep's clothing, not the real article, not the real deal. I get that. But I also feel the long game dictates that we forgive those that are not 100% on board with where we believe we need to be right now. We support and move forward with Donald Trump in 2024. We believe in the manner in which he does his business, obviously, and the manner in which he governed, obviously. But we don't cut our nose off to spite our face. And I know you weren't 4872. 4872 says, no, I'm not saying, no. What I'm saying is that with your point is well taken, Trump now, DeSantis next. That's what 4872 said. And my point was, I was trampolining off that. I wasn't saying that you said that, but what I would suggest is if you vilify DeSantis to the point that you soil him, then you lose a viable candidate moving forward. Now, maybe that's good for some people. Here's the bottom line. Let me back it up. If you come at the debate last night, if you watched it, if you bothered to watch it, maybe you hate DeSantis, maybe you think he's the enemy, whatever, then you probably didn't watch. But for those that came to the debate wanting something of a conversation or an exchange of ideas, oh my goodness. There's no question. There's no question who won the arena of ideas last night. It was Ron DeSantis. And I didn't think Ron DeSantis performed that poorly with regard to personality politics either. 9821 wants to know if I support, I guess this is a question whether or not I support AFP girl Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley would not be tops of my list, and I'll tell you why. It's always issue politics for me. It's not personality politics, although I will admit that there are some personalities that grate on my nerves more so than others in national political circles. But for me, it's her foreign policy initiatives. Nikki Haley is too much of a war hawk for me. So she would be certainly down the list. But if it was a this versus that choice, if it were a binary choice with regard to Nikki Haley versus if somehow Nikki Haley was against Joe Biden, I would vote Nikki Haley. Now, would I have preferred to see Donald Trump on the stage last night? Sure. I would have. But he wasn't there. But Ron DeSantis was, presenting conservative concepts and conservative ideas, and I thought he did so in a positive way. Here's my broad note on the debate. And I find this amusing. And I'm not coming after you guys because you're the smartest listeners on planet Earth. But here's what I've noticed. When we have these structured debates where the, very important suit-wearing commentators are sitting at desks looking at the debaters on the stage, and they tell you there will be no applause in this audience tonight. We will ask questions. You will have 60 seconds to answer said questions. At that time, you will have a 30-second rebuttal, ma'am or sir. If your name is addressed, you will have a 30-second rebuttal opportunity. We will not go beyond, all of this structure in these debates. And we hear from, if you're in my arena, if you work in you hear, man, I wish they would just let them debate. Why don't they just let them debate? Well, that's what it looks like if you watched any of it last night. Letting them have at it is a little bit of chaos. Letting them have at it is a little bit of crosstalk. Letting them have at it is a little bit of this guy yelling about this guy being a bully and this guy saying that he's a bully and all of those things. Like, people claim that they want real debate until they get it. And when they get a real in-the-mud, hammer and tongs, mano-a-mano contest like that, this is crazy. I can't hear anybody. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm not saying everyone. I'm just saying I saw a lot of that last night. Like, people claim they want a debate until they get one. And then when they get one, they're like, wait, I didn't know it was going to be all of this. I thought they would be. What do you expect them to be? They won't be good. They won't stick by the rules if they have somebody actually trying to make them stick by the rules. So that's my first observation, is that people claim that they want to see the moderators out of it. They want to see the debaters on the stage go after it and defend themselves. But when you get that, you just get two guys talking over one another and nobody understands what anybody's talking about. And trust me, as someone that has done that on my radio show, it is very off-putting to people. Some people like it. A lot of people don't. I'm thinking of my conversation with Justin Canoe of the Tennessee Holler from several weeks ago, where we did a lot of that because there was no moderator. John writes in, and he's right, and I'm missing a lot of you, but I'll get to some of your commentary on a First Amendment Freestyle Friday. I'm also curious where you are on this concept via the telephones. It's a First Amendment Freestyle Friday, 615-737-9986. John writes in and says, isn't that what primaries are like? Bashing fellow Republicans. I've never liked that. One should promote one's ideas, vision, and trustworthiness. Only knocking the opponent does not tell me about you. It causes me distrust. Well, no, you're right. I mean, there's long been a little bit of that. I mean, even back when I was a kid, I remember when, was it George H.W. Bush said that Ronald Reagan's tax plan was voodoo and voodoo economics. And he eventually became his vice president. Politics has always been the ultimate blood sport. Politics is always going to be bare-knuckle boxing. Politics is always going to be bloody. So there's no question about that. What I don't like is this idea that if I pick my guy, then every other guy on the conservative side of the aisle becomes the enemy. Because I don't think they're the enemy. I think they're useful. I think they're needed. We need the votes. So it's not a matter of convincing Trump people to vote for Ron DeSantis. That's never going to happen. I'm not voting for Ron DeSantis, and I knew I wasn't voting for Ron DeSantis when I went into that debate last night. It's about promoting the ideas and the concepts of libertarianism or conservatism and bringing those mushy people in the middle to your side of these ideas. It's reminding people that the reason that they don't have a bank account or a savings account like they had under Trump is because of leftist liberal policies of the Joe Biden administration. It's reminding people why California is such a crap hole that it has become. And it's not because of Gavin Newsom. Rather, it's not because of Ron DeSantis. It's because of Gavin Newsom and his policies and his ilk. So I'm not your guy that's going to bash DeSantis. I thought DeSantis did well. That doesn't mean that DeSantis is going to be the nominee. He's not. Unless some unforeseen circumstance happens, that will be Donald Trump. I will support Donald Trump. But I can support Donald Trump and still like Ron DeSantis. And I guess that's what I don't like, is this idea that DeSantis becomes the enemy because he had the audacity to present himself for public service in the presidency. That's just mine. John says Reagan's 11th commandment. Yeah, I mean, Reagan kind of violated his 11th commandment occasionally as well. 4295 says, I think it would have been more interesting if they had boxed. I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'm the nerd. Maybe you guys didn't like it at all. We'll find out. It's 1224. Super Talk 99.7 WTN just getting underway.
We really are passionate about our state. It's so beautiful, and we just want people and all Tennesseans to help us keep it that way. We really want to make sure that, our beauty, and from, west to east to even middle Tennessee, we want to make sure it's nice and clean for everyone to enjoy. I like to get people to volunteer and to get out there and keep our world clean, man. Litter's disgusting. No one likes it.
That's right. Yeah, if you ask my wife, I've always said, keep Tennessee beautiful. That's kind of been, I think I found a T-shirt or something a long time ago.
It's that marketing.
Yeah.
Really good job.
It's like,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no sense in throwing your trash out the window or when you're hunting or fishing, leaving the trash there on the bank or whatever. It's not not worth it.
Currently, there are 88 million pieces of litter on Tennessee roadways at any given time in this state.
Wow.
And TDOT currently spends $23 million on picking up the litter, educating about the litter.
The Nobody Trashes Tennessee campaign, there's some great videos out there. And I was watching the litter the lessons and the show and get to know the Red Plastic Cup. Tell us a bit about the campaign and some of those characters. That's pretty neat.
So Red Plastic Cup, he thinks he's a movie star. He thinks he's just the greatest thing ever. So he started off with a talk show, and then he got a movie. And in our movie, he got more characters, and like we had experts, like water quality expert was Sal, the smallmouth bass.
Yeah.
And his bodyguard is Trash Squatch. And if we can go into Trash Squatch a little bit too, but love Trash Squatch.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 1228. Good afternoon. Welcome in, whether it's on Super Talk TV. Hello, how are you? Also on the radio, internet streaming platforms galore. Find us basically. Well, I mean, if you got one of these, you can take us wherever you go. You also take China with you. But, that's another story for another day. Speaking of China, we'll get into this respiratory virus that's, oddly enough, popping its ugly head up. Now, I understand that it's wintertime. I get that. I understand that, it's going around. That's what they always say. Have you ever noticed, casual observation from Matt Murphy to you, side note, have you ever noticed when you tell someone you're under the weather, they always say it's going around? They never say it's not going around. Like, if Mason told me he was under the weather, it would be something for me, like Mason said, tell me you're not feeling well.
Hey, Matt, it's been a long day. I'm a little under the weather.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going around. You know? Really? Yeah. You know what you never hear? All right, do your thing again. Do your thing again. Right, go.
Matt, it's been a real long day. I'm a little under the weather.
You're under the weather?
Yeah.
That's weird because it's not going around.
Oh, just me?
Yeah, just you.
Interesting.
You never hear that it's not going around. It's always going around. Anyway, it's going around China right now, and several of our lawmakers, our United States senators. What was that? China. I love Donald Trump. China virus. Several of our United States senators want to want to restrict some travel from over in China to prevent, you know what they want to prevent? They want to prevent excuses. They want to prevent the conversation of, I don't think America would put up with shutdown conversation. I don't think America would put up with mandate conversation. America is not in the mood. Any sort of conversation about that sort of thing would be beneficial, frankly, from a political perspective to conservatives and Republicans. Because conservatives and Republicans recognize that you get to make decisions about your health and your life, and that those decisions should be made absent interference from the government of the governed. And that is obviously with the caveat, unless there is a real and present danger, and there was not a real and present danger with regard to COVID in the manner in which they tried to control us and sheeple us. All right, Christopher and Cecil, we'll get to you momentarily. It's 12:31. I've talked long enough where I can't get to one of you before this break, but we will do so presently on a First Amendment Freestyle Friday, 615-737-9986. Tune in. Hey, gang, it's Matt Murphy for The Safe House. Now, Mark and his team at The Safe House, they say ho, ho, ho all year long. In other words, they believe that it's always a holiday at Nashville Safe House. Why? Well, primarily because there's always a sales tax-free holiday on gun safes at Nashville Safe House, which is a pretty cool thing. In addition to that, they've got safes galore. And I would encourage you to consider one of these for your needs for the holiday season, because it's a great gift to give the loved one in your life. Nashville Safe House is there for you, and they have safes there for you as well. Matter of fact, they've got well in excess of 200 safes on the showroom floor and another 400 or so in their warehouse. They have a safe for everyone at Nashville Safe House. And so I strongly encourage you to stop by and see them at 4th Avenue South in Nashville. Say hello to Mark and his team. Mark is happy to tell you that Joe Biden is now and has long been his salesman of the year because of the uncertainty in the national economy and the uncertainty in a lot of different areas, and that creates concern amongst the population. However, I need jokes when he says that, but I'm trying to become the salesman of the year. So mention my name when you stop by and see Mark at Nashville Safe House. Go to NashvilleSafeHouse.com, NashvilleSafeHouse.com for gun safes, for jewelry safes, for corporate safes. They got them all at Nashville Safe House. Stop by 4th Avenue South across from City Cemetery. It's Nashville Safe House. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello and a good afternoon. I feel good. Mason's got me in a good mood.
That's a first.
You know, normally Headless Bell is dragging me down. I kid. That's not true. I love what I do to Bell every day because Bell is accustomed to, in his 50-plus years of life on Earth, being the most curmudgeonly person in any given situation. And I come into that, and it's like I'm farting in a car, and he has to deal with it. And so, but you, Mason, on the other hand, you're like the anti-Bell. You're typically bright, you're cheery, you've got a smile on your face.
I appreciate it.
That's good. Can we see you?
Not at the moment.
Dadgummit.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Made it through the whole week, and I
just decided to hell with it. Just whatever. Murph won't know.
I got threatened yesterday. I didn't know if it was worth it or not.
What? You got threatened?
By you.
Oh. Did I threaten you?
Just a little bit.
When did I threaten? I'm sorry. Did I threaten? I apologize. I don't have enough.
More of you said, I just go into a blind rage and then,
it was over Friday Eve, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know what?
It was reasonable.
In the spirit of
a Friday day.
Go ahead and play it. You can play it. You want to play it? Go ahead.
No, it's not Friday Eve anymore.
Well, it's Thursday when you play it normally.
Yeah, when it's supposed to be played.
Now, don't make me go into a blind rage again that I immediately forgot about. There was just one moment where I was like, stop!
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no. It actually made our promo.
That doesn't scare you.
I have the promo if you want to hear it.
I do not. I do not. I want to hear from Christopher, and I want to hear from Cecil and you, 615-737-9986. Primarily, if you bothered to watch last night. If not, why not? If so, what did you think? The poop map was incredible. Have you seen the poop map?
I have not, but
I'm sorry, folks.
I've heard the rumors.
It's so good. I'm sorry, folks. It's just so good. Ron DeSantis pulled a poop map for Gavin. There is an actual poop map on an official government application in San Francisco that alerts people where the poop is. And it's everywhere, baby. Go to my my Twitter feed, my X feed, at Matt Murphy Show. I put up the poop map. Yeah, there you go. I mean, and you'll know that you have found the poop map when you see this. This is the description that I gave on X. You ready?
Ready.
Poop map, poop map, poop map, poop map, poop map, poop map, poop map. I love the fact, I think that, is that Alcatraz? Oh, no. There are poops that have been found on Treasure Island, just outside of San Francisco. So this is a map where when people find poop in the streets, feces on the street, they go on the application and they say, hey, there's poop on the street. It's like Waze, but for poop.
It's a scavenger hunt for local authorities.
It's like, hey, can we collectively figure out what the best route to get from point A to point B is? If you see a traffic accident, alert us on Waze. This is basically that, but for poop.
That I would consider a pedestrian traffic violation for sure.
And Ron DeSantis pulled the poop map last night. I thought it was hilarious. Christopher's in the borough. He joins us first up on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, Christopher.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I just wanted to bring up, I never hear you guys, I don't get to listen to you all the time, but when I do, I haven't really heard much conversation about RFK. I'm curious what your take is on his place in this whole thing.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is getting a good amount of attention based on a couple of factors. Primarily, he's a Kennedy, okay, and so that's going to be in his corner for the political left. However, he has very, very strong opinions about vaccines generally and COVID-19 vaccines particularly, and he believes that the American government was acting in a subversive way over the past several years. So he has attracted a lot of people to his political campaign for president of the United States because of that. However, I would caution those same individuals that gravitate toward RFK because of that reason. While I appreciate your reasoning, I also appreciate the fact that he has not changed his position, his very liberal position on a lot of issues that would be of concern to me, primarily climate change being one of them, social engineering and quote-unquote social justice being a secondary one.
Wait. The social justice thing. I don't understand. I mean, I know his views on climate change, and
he's a leftist. He believes in a redistribution of wealth, and that's what I mean when I say social engineering.
Okay, Okay, all right.
That's what I mean. Maybe I'm saying it inarticulately, but what I mean is that Robert F. Kennedy is a liberal in the sense that he believes in taking from those who have and giving to those who have not through force of government.
Okay, I haven't seen that about him. The things that I have heard about him and heard him talk about and speak on and write on have been what I feel to be pretty measured and pretty fair, sort of irrespective of either liberal or conservative measures. Some things he's pretty conservative about. Some things he's fairly liberal about. I feel like liberals and conservatives have almost flipped again. You know how they sort of flipped back when like the values flipped, and I feel like they're starting to shift yet again. Like the polar opposites almost.
Well, I would say this, Christopher. My grandfather, when I was young, I asked him one time, this was before I became obviously old enough to truly understand politics. I asked him why, he would tell you that he was a Democrat, and I asked him why, and he said because only rich people are Republicans. And that's just the way he felt about it, right? He grew up in that FDR era. Where there were Rockefeller Republican, right? But I think that has already flipped, and we classify them as Walmart Republicans or Kmart Republicans, where the poorer or middle class recognize that the political left does not in any way reflect their values, and they don't do anything to benefit them to help them benefit themselves. So I can understand that flip that you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of the things that conservatives are concerned about, he supports very much. I feel like in a lot of ways, a lot of the things that he supports and advocates for, and the ideas that he has, like border security and even climate change, for that matter, I feel like a lot of those policies that he would like to instruct tends to lean a lot more conservative than liberal. I think that's why maybe you don't hear much about him on, main media, because that seems to be more liberal focused. And that's why I guess I expected to hear a little bit more about him or hear his take on things on programs like this, because there aren't a lot of conservative media.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of ways that Kennedy attracts me, and there are several ways that. There are several policy positions that he would have that I have concern with, but certain things that he does and says that do attract me. And I would caution folks, if you look at Robert F. Kennedy's position, and I want to say that I'm not doubting his sincerity when I say this. It's just an observation that positions that he took 15 years ago on issues are very different than the positions he's taken in 2023. In a lot of ways, on abortion. So I don't. Some would question perhaps if he's doing that for political expediency, and I understand why you would question that. I'm not questioning that necessarily. I would just note it, right? So his take on gun control is decidedly.
He grows.
Yeah, his take on gun control has changed. His take on abortion has changed. He said, I think earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken, I think I have this right, that he would promote a national ban on abortions after the first trimester and then leave it up to the states what they do for the first trimester, which I think is a change in his position from the past and is a welcome one for those who perhaps are more conservative thinking about supporting him. I appreciate his foreign policy initiatives that he's talked about. He wants to stop with government entanglement, American government entanglement in foreign conflicts where we do not have a real direct and vested interest, I'm all about that. I'm a libertarian, so I would be all about that.
Yep.
And, as far as the economy goes, once again, I am leaning on – I've not heard a lot on the economy from Kennedy over the past year. I'm kind of leaning on some past comments.
Like when you talk about social engineering, I wasn't sure what exactly, because I haven't.
Well, and this is, I mean, and that's the reason that I bring it up is because these are comments that I remember that Kennedy has made in his time in service to the country, and so
for sure.
Yeah, but hey, look, he is going to be. There is no question that Robert F. Kennedy will be a factor in that he is running as an independent now, and he's preparing to get on all 50 state ballots. And who he takes more from is an interesting question, because I think he draws more from Trump supporters than he does from Biden supporters.
Well, I think if it's literally a three-way race, which the way it's polling right now looks like it. I mean, all the polls that I'm seeing there's a Harvard poll, there's a New York Times poll, there's a Rutgers poll that I've seen, that he's not only keeping up with Biden and Trump, but he's leading in many cases, in many age groups, and many demographics. And one thing that I like about him and about, I guess the thrust of his campaign, I would say, is he really wants to, everyone wants to campaign on want to drain the swamp, right? But no one really puts forth a plan on how they're going to do it. Basically, it's just trying to beat up the other guy, beat up the other side. And I think one thing that I really like about him is, his role as an environmental attorney. He worked, he litigated against a lot of big corporations, a lot of government agencies and oversight groups, and different departments, and he understands the entanglement of the people that lead these groups and write these policies that tend to favor, corporate, interference in how things are done, from pharmaceuticals to a lot of big chemical companies,
Sure.
A lot of big companies.
Sure.
And he really wants to sort of untie those entanglements, and he knows kind of where to do it and also how to do it, because he's got to see behind the curtain through, a lot of the things through litigation. So that to me, that's the thing that I think is most beneficial to having someone not from either side, but he seems to be the most reasonable all the way around in not only his policies, but also his character. I also like the fact that he doesn't want to denigrate any of the other people running. He just refuses to do that. They try to corner him
Sure.
in that, and he doesn't want to do it. So,
well,
anyway,
he's certainly going to be a factor, and he will be a discussion point moving forward as 2023 becomes 2024. And Christopher, you keep calling in, and whether it's about RFK or presidential politics generally, I appreciate the exchange. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. I would also look into. I was just looking at some of the policy positions that RFK has gotten on the record on in 2023. He did state that he was in favor of single payer health care, although he said that single payer health care for him, that means something different than it would mean for others with regard to what he would define that as. Obviously, I'm appreciative of some of his concerns about entanglements regarding Ukraine and obviously China. He's very concerned with China using COVID-19 as a bioweapon, and he's well on record on that. So he will be a factor, there's no question. Cecil is next up in Smyrna as we continue on First Amendment Freestyle Friday on the Matt Murphy Show. Hello, Cecil. Hope you're well.
How you doing? That gentleman right there just got me. I'm just sitting here like I'm livid sitting here in my seat right here. Now, he just quoted something talking about RFK. I mean, come on. I mean, how much does a guy that got to walk around with polka dot pants on in order for you to see a screaming liberal? He just cited the New York Times, Harvard, social redistribution of wealth, climate change. I mean, come on. I don't care what that guy says. He kisses babies. He's a screaming liberal. He's going to have liberal policies. If you're overlooking Republican candidates that are running for the office and you're talking about RFK, man, come on.
I would say this, Cecil, and I'm trying to give the caller, the benefit of the doubt and have a reasonable discussion about RFK. And I don't want to dismiss RFK, but I will say this. A lot of conservatives are gravitating to RFK because of his position against vaccines generally and against COVID-19 vaccines particularly. And I would encourage you, if you are gravitating toward him for that reason, do due diligence and look up his background and where he has been on a variety of different issues, including the issue of abortion, which I just saw. I remembered that he had said he wanted to ban in the first trimester, and actually I'd forgotten, and I just looked it up. He walked that position back immediately after he stated it earlier this year and said, oh, no, I misunderstood the question. So I don't know where he is on the issue of abortion.
What I actually called about was this right here. Number one, I'm a diehard Trump fan, but if Trump doesn't win, we need to get Democrat. I mean, we need to get those whoever. The guy in Florida, he is not an enemy, like you said. We don't need to alienate him because, I mean, we got to have somebody on the Republican side to get Biden out of office. Second thing, I do not like anything pertaining to these school vouchers that they have going on. These school vouchers are totally wrong. If a parent can't afford to send their kid to high school, they shouldn't even have to worry about affording it. If you have a child, if you're living in the inner and you sending your child to what you saw, I don't believe in a so-called failing school because there's still kids in those schools that make A's. The problem with the schools is they're dealing with the discipline of the people who don't want to learn. They need to address that and put money towards that and getting people out of school that don't want to learn and keeping people in school that want to learn. You have people in building these low-income houses in these good neighborhoods, making the property value go down. Those children are already going to be in good neighborhoods and everything where they can go to good schools. So why are you giving out vouchers? You got more low-income housing going up in good neighborhoods than you do anything else. So why you want to give vouchers to people to come over? And we're also dealing with immigration. We're being overloaded with immigration with kids in schools and everything. So we need to rethink this thing about school vouchers.
All right, hold on. Cecil, I put you on hold. I don't want to hang up on you because I think it's a good call, but I got to do this real quick. I'm going to finish up on the other side. It's 12:53 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. Tennessee Men's Clinic wants to hear from you. During the holiday season, if you just don't have the energy, holiday parties or maybe putting up holiday decorations, and you just don't feel it, you just don't have it, well, it's time to schedule an appointment with Tennessee Men's Clinic. Do this for your family. It's a holiday gift to everyone if you can get back to an energetic lifestyle with you and your family and everything going on during the holiday season. Here's as simple as it gets. Make the call that so many others have made. Thousands, literally thousands of men have benefited from getting in, scheduling that initial consultation, sitting down with one of their professionals at Tennessee Men's Clinic, allowing them to go over test results with you day of. They will take a little blood from you. Now, I'm just letting you know. But that's good stuff because then they can analyze that and see what's going on. Where are your T levels? Where are your other levels in your body? And then they know that they can talk with you and develop an action plan that's going to succeed in getting you back to the energy that you've missed. What about it, guys? Let's do this. TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. That's TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Or call for that appointment today. 2 locations. One's in Midtown. The other is right over in Cool Springs. It's 615-208-9090. 208-9090 for our friends at the Tennessee Men's Clinic.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. Have you ever thought about why we invest in the stock market? Well, you often hear because we want to protect ourselves from inflation. Well, what is inflation? It's prices going up. Who's raising prices? Companies. What do you own when you own stocks? You own the companies raising prices, so it helps protect us from that. The other thing is this. Think about the most successful people you know. They're typically business owners. And you get to be a business owner when you invest in the stock market. Now, if we think about the stock market, a lot of people worry about, well, what if the stock market drops and it never comes back? Well, this is another thing that I like to explain to people. If the stock market goes down and it never comes back, what does that mean? That means that earnings went down and they never came back up again. So earnings went down. If earnings go down, what else goes down? Taxes go down. If taxes go away, what else goes away? The government goes away. If the government goes away, the FDIC goes away. So think about it. Everything is built on the stock market. That's why I don't ever worry about the stock market going down. Everybody has the same goal in mind when stocks go down. get it to come back up, because we got to get earnings to come back up. Now, you have two things at your control to get earnings to come back up. One is sales. We can change what we're selling or sell more of whatever we have if we can. And if we can't do that, we can reduce our expenses. And that's exactly what companies do. You'll notice that they lay off people when things get bad, and hence that is why the stock market has recovered from every downturn throughout all of history. Now, if you want to learn more about our approach to investing in financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call, or call 615-851-1950.
Out New York Republican George Santos. The state's governor will call a special election to fill the seat. Santos faces federal fraud and other charges. ABC's Jay O'Brien at the Capitol.
His office stays open. Santos is no longer a congressman. His belongings in the office have to be cleared out, but the staff can still stay there. The House clerk takes over that office and still fulfills the duties of a congressional office, constituent services and things of that nature, but there's no vote for Santos's constituents in Congress.
As the Israel-Hamas ceasefire ends. This shocker of a report. ABC's Martha Raddatz.
The horrors of October 7th, the lapses in security, the planning by Hamas laid out in a stunning report. The New York Times saying that Israeli officials had the Hamas battle plan in their hands for more than a year before hundreds of Hamas fighters stormed into Israel and slaughtered more than 1,200 people. But the Times says the Hamas plan was dismissed by the Israelis, who believed it would be too difficult for Hamas to carry out.
Former Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor has died, 93.
Beyond breaking the glass ceiling as the first female member of the nation's highest court, Sandra Day O'Connor was a rare example of a justice who came up through electoral politics rather than the federal judiciary. She was a leader of the Arizona legislature and then a state appeals court judge when Ronald Reagan nominated her in 1981. As a justice, O'Connor was a reliable swing vote who sided with liberals on abortion and gay rights and with conservatives against affirmative action. She wrote in 2003 that it was the court's hope that after a quarter century, racial preferences would no longer be necessary. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Illinois appeals court has upheld the Empire actor Jussie Smollett's disorderly conduct conviction. You're listening to ABC News.
It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Hour number 2 starts right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Pleased to have you with us on a First Amendment Freestyle Friday. It's also the first day of December. It is officially the holiday season. Our episode 466 of these proceedings. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. I appreciate you. You know, we don't have to agree on everything, and I hope that we don't, because if you agree with me 100% of the time, there's something wrong with you, because I know there's something wrong with me. However, I appreciate you indulging me. I appreciate your participation, especially on these Fridays. It is First Amendment Freestyle Friday on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Mason Fleming is controlling the experience, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible in the absence of Bel K, and I appreciate him. Thank you, Mason.
I appreciate the thanks.
You're welcome. You working all weekend?
No, I'm actually off.
Good
for
you.
First time in a little while.
I was about to say that's not normal, right?
No, it's not. No.
You're normally like blowing and going 7 days a week, aren't you?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, but I got the weekend off, so it's praise from here on out.
You want to party or what?
No, I'm gonna sleep.
I mean, I can
sleep
find,
so
not
much.
me. I could find somebody. I'm not partying with you.
Maybe some
sleep.
Alleged gummies from yesterday.
Are you just to help you sleep, right?
Yeah, just for sleep. Just
That's
for
right.
sleep.
And if you missed the show yesterday, we all have established collectively that no one eats gummies to get high. They just eat gummies to sleep.
Yeah, I'm a Haribo fan, so
sure.
We're good.
Are you a football fan?
I'm a NFL fan. I have not super gotten into college football. I tried for a little bit and pushed towards Vols, but that's about where I got.
It's a hard slog nowadays.
Yeah.
Hard slog. Although it's getting easier.
Yeah, it's getting a little nicer.
I think
sure.
Heupel is helping. Obviously, I've got a big game for tomorrow.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Very, very excited about it.
Was it like kids flag football or something?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm. I'm trepidatious and nervous about the afternoon activities tomorrow in Atlanta, Georgia for the SEC championship game. Glory, glory to Georgia. Glory, glory to Georgia. And to hell with the Crimson Tide. Okay. Enough of that. It is 1 o'clock. It is Friday, just after 1 o'clock. And on these Fridays, you know the tradition, you longtime listeners. For you newbies in the listening audience, Matt Murphy takes a step back and presents to you one of my best friends in the world, my best friend in the world. He's also my life consultant. He's a Tennessee man and native. Went to the University of, spent a lot of time in this state, and now he joins us via the Murphy Show hotline. He is Jay St. Clair. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday.
Good morning, Americans. It's Friday.
Oh, yes. Your opportunity to ask a question of a legal expert. He is, the mind that this guy has. I like to build him up before I get him on. If he came on, he would stop me, but no. He's got such a legal mind. He's got such legal expertise and knowledge. And it's your opportunity to get value out of some of these legal questions. So you ask a legal question particularly on the super text line, but if you want to call in, you can do so as well. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Ask Jay St. Clair anything, and I promise you, because I've known the man for 20 years, he'll have an answer. It's Jay St. Clair, everybody. Hey! Hey, Jay. What's up?
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
If I were any better, man, I would be in Club 137.
Wow.
I'm going to be making my application next weekend.
So not this weekend, but next weekend, back on the track?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been studying data. I've got this data from these pros. And, man, on the second half of the track, I am right dead even with Andrew Raines, who's a professional race car driver who drove my car. And so I know exactly where he's beating me. I know exactly how he's doing it. I know exactly what I need to do. And it's the legal term for it is grow a pair.
Well,
that's all I got to do.
That's right. That's a legal term of art. Grow a pair.
That's a legal term.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Well, for those who don't know, I feel like I need to catch the newbies up. For those who don't know, Jay raced for years on oval tracks, and he set that aside for a period of time, and now he's got a track car that he takes out to road courses, primarily to Barber Motorsports. Now, I'm trying to get Jay to go ahead and come off his wallet and get himself a trailer so we can get him up here to the great state of Tennessee. And look, people send me these road courses, Jay, and there's a lot of them in Tennessee.
Well, I think, didn't they, there were these people down here promoting a course up in Crossville.
Yep.
And we talked about this a while back, and I think one of your listeners said, yeah, they built it, and it's open.
I know. I know.
That's true, then I'm definitely going there.
I told you that I'll be your crew chief for what it's worth. I don't think it's going to help you, but, I'm there for you.
Oh, no, you're good crew chief. I mean, I had a lot at Fairfield Glade and Lake Tennessee, so I know Cumberland Mountain very well. I love it. I'll have to get. I think they sell condos there at the racetrack, so that may be our little getaway.
I like that. Yeah. Well, while we're indulging ourselves in this conversation about racing generally, motorsports, the big boys are in Nashville now. They're doing their big award ceremonies. Did you know that, Jay?
Oh, that's right. I forgot they got moved there. Is that already happened, or is that this weekend?
It's this week. It's this week, and I don't know exactly the night. I think something was happening last night. I think the big award ceremony is tonight, where they'll award all the trucks and Xfinity, and then of course Ryan. I love the fact that Ryan Blaney won it this year.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's great. It's absolutely great. That used to be at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York for the longest time, man.
New York City.
Yeah, and it's the country boys going up to the city, and then I think they moved it to Las Vegas for a while, and I really like them moving it to Nashville and getting back in the South with it. And of course, Nashville now is just got everything going on. So I know everything about that's good. That's great. And yeah, Ryan Blaney, he's from a racing family. He's a really class guy. And I don't know if you saw, he and Bubba Wallace are pretty good buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something going on there, and Blaney had a tux on. And I don't know, he had some kind of wardrobe malfunction. And so his pants legs were about a foot higher than his shoes.
He's wearing, we call those those are high waters, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's like some podunk country guy who never, worn breeches before. And Bubba tweeted that out and made fun of him. And he was a good sport about it. When you win a championship, Matt, your sense of humor is a lot more flexible.
Oh, yeah. You can wear whatever the heck you want to if you are the champion. Now, I don't know that I told you this, but when my brother and I took a trip, we took that motorcycle trip down through Mississippi and into Louisiana, and then we cut across the coast. And, we went to Pensacola. I don't know that I've told you that I accidentally drove by Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I did.
Oh, how interesting.
It's whatever road we were on. I mean, it's a pretty, major thoroughfare there, and it's right there off the road. And I drove by, and I was like, that's where the Snowball Derby is. And isn't the Snowball Derby this weekend?
Oh, it's this weekend. It's absolutely this weekend. And Augie Grill, he's going to ride in the Derby, a two-time winner. He's one of the professional drivers that drove my track car around Barber. And no, it's neat. And this is a big-time deal. I don't know who else is going to be there, but Kyle Busch has won it a couple of times. Chase Elliott has. I mean, this is big-time racing, man.
Oh, no, and it looks like a great track. Obviously, we didn't stop, but just driving by it, you hear about it. And I have actually driven. Virtually on Five. I won a race at Five Flags during my iRacing career, Jay.
How much did it pay?
That cost a lot of time and energy, a lot of cussing. People dog cuss you on those radios, Jay, when you win.
I think Augie won $50,000.
Wow.
Snowball Derby.
Wow. Well, Jay, and it's just a point of personal privilege, guys, and I apologize if you're listening and this has bored the heck out of you, but I have to say it, that I love the fact that a guy that has driven your track car, Augie Grill, will be driving at the Snowball Derby, the 56th annual Snowball Derby this weekend, and he will have on his car Bob Sykes Barbecue, which was a big sponsor of mine. Back in Birmingham, Alabama. Van Sykes is a fine American and a great Alabamian, and he's put his sponsorship on Augie's car. That's pretty cool.
No, I know, and you're right. People listen to this. We don't care anything about this, but it's great. It's all about great people and good stuff. And look, if you don't like, what is it Charlie Daniels said? A damn good cowboy. That if you don't like him, you won't like me either.
Yep.
Well, if you don't like racing, you probably won't like me either.
That's true. Well, I just had someone on the super text line, 1509. And by the way, get your questions in for our legal expert. We're going to talk law here in just a moment. 615-737-9986. 1509, I don't know who this is, but said, my friend Michael House, who lives here in Columbia, Tennessee, is racing in Pensacola at the Snowball Derby this weekend. He is Sterling Marlin's son-in-law, and he sent me a picture of the car. It's pretty cool. He's got U.S. Tank on the car. It's the #1 car. And he just sent me a photograph. Well, that's very cool. Well, I have somebody else to root for in the proceedings. I'm already going to be rooting for Augie, and now I'll root for Michael House too.
No, there's a lot of short track racing around Middle Tennessee. So Sterling Marlin's son-in-law.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Cuckoo Marlin's grandson.
You see, you that's presenting your bona fides there, Jay. When you talk about Cuckoo Marlin. Well, I think Sterling cut his teeth at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, didn't he?
Well, no, absolutely. He's more up around East Tennessee, but now I guarantee you he's run a bunch of races out there at the Fairgrounds, no question. But Bristol, he would probably call Bristol his home track.
Well, great stuff, and obviously I'm rooting for Augie. And I know you text back and forth with him. Tell him Matt Murphy is rooting him to victory at Five Flags, okay?
I'll do, but if I send him a text this afternoon, Matt, he probably won't read it.
He might be a little busy, you think?
Yeah, he's got a few balls in the air.
Jay, any activity before we get to calls? And we've got a bunch of people lining up to ask you questions on the phone lines, and we've also got some folks on the super text line. But I always ask you to update me on the Trump stuff. And I know you've been keeping up. I mean, is there any update on any of the Trump stuff right now?
Yeah, no, there absolutely is. I'm glad you asked about that. We talked about this briefly the other week, man. The most fascinating thing going on right now in the law fair, I guess is what they call it, the persecution of Trump in the legal system, is this fraud case up in New York. Now, when the state was putting on their case, we heard about it every day, right? Every day. And then all of a sudden it went radio silent.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you hadn't heard anything about that trial in weeks.
Nope.
Well, the reason is now it's Trump's turn. They've been putting on their case for several weeks now, man. And they waxed the dude. Who was it? There was a football player one time that described the hit that he gave. He said, I waxed
So,
for example, they had one of the high-ranking officials in from Deutsche Bank, one of the banks that loaned them hundreds of millions of dollars. And he said, no, there wasn't any fraud at all. He even with the numbers y'all are talking about, he far exceeded our minimum qualifications for the amount of money that we owe to him. He's one of the best banking customers we've ever had. We made a lot of money off of him. We were not injured in any way.
Huh.
Hadn't heard that on TV.
No. I mean, and Jay, I've learned a lot of things from you on the golf course about the law, right?
Yep.
And one of the things that you've taught me over the years is that in order for you to have a case in civil court, you have to demonstrate the harm inflicted on someone or something.
No, that's right.
Someone has to be injured, right?
Yeah, we call them damages. You got to have damages. I was involved one time with a non-compete case, man, and I bet you the company suing spent hundreds of thousands of dollars pursuing this case against some really good people. And then it got to be our turn, and we said, well, how have you been hurt? How much have you been hurt? And they looked at us like we were from Mars. They had never considered that question, man. So they go and pay, I don't know, probably $100,000 to hire an expert witness to calculate their hurt, their damages.
Uh-huh.
It was $32,467.82. And we laughed.
I think, and if this is the case that I'm thinking about, I think this is the one I'm thinking about, where didn't they initially claim that they had the best year that they had ever had? Like, we had a great year. It was great, but it could have been better.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. All right, Jay, I'm going to put you on hold real quick. Do me a favor, if you don't mind, Mason, and see if we can't get that into a better situation. Pick up on him. We'll get to Dan and Scott, Gail, Ronald, and Lindsay, all with questions for Jay St. Clair, plus plenty of them on the phone lines. It's one of the favorite segments of the week on the Matt Murphy Show. It is Friday on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, you still got my television camera on there? I want to show folks. You got me on there? So I picked this up from Savory Spice. If you're watching on television, I picked this up from Savory Spice, and I can't believe it. Holly, I hope you're listening because I promised Holly that I would put this up on the television. This is being sold at Savory Spice. They have them in these little 2-ounce bottles for personal use, but they also have them in larger bottles. It's called Run Amok. It is sparkle syrup. You heard me correctly, friends. Look at there. I'm shaking it. See the sparkles in there? Edible sparkles from Savory Spice. They've got something for everyone at Savory Spice. The sparkle syrup is pretty cool, and I'm going to try that on waffles or whatnot here in a jiff. But here's the deal, folks. If you are looking for something to up your food game, they'll have it for you at Savory Spice, whether it's sparkle syrup or some of the delicious spices and the delicious mixes or whatnot. They have something to go on your food after you prepare it. They have something to go on your food to prepare it as well. It's all right there at Savory Spice, and they want to see you. Folks, do this. Up the food game by going to Savory Spice, and especially during the holiday season. I mean, can you imagine the look on your children's faces when on Christmas Eve or whenever it is that you have the guys over, you put sparkle syrup on their pancakes or their waffles? Well, that's pretty cool and edible, too. So go find that at Savory Spice. Go find the popcorn sprinkle at Savory Spice. Whatever your need might be, they've got it. 2 locations to serve you. One's in L&L Market in Nashville on Charlotte Pike. The other in Franklin, just next to Grace Pharmacy. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Savory Spice.
We really are passionate about our state. It's so beautiful, and we just want people and all Tennesseans to help us keep it that way. We really want to make sure that, our beauty, and from, west to east to even middle Tennessee, we want to make sure it's nice and clean for everyone to enjoy. I like to get people to volunteer and to get out there and keep our world clean, man. Litter's disgusting. No one likes it.
That's right. Yeah, if you ask my wife, I've always said, keep Tennessee beautiful. That's kind of been, I think I found a T-shirt or something a long time ago.
It's that marketing.
Yeah.
Really good job.
It's like,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no sense in throwing your trash out the window or when you're hunting or fishing, leaving the trash there on the bank or whatever. It's not worth it.
Currently, there are 88 million pieces of litter on Tennessee roadways at any given time in this state.
Wow.
And TDOT currently spends $23 million on picking up the litter, educating about the litter.
The Nobody Trashes Tennessee campaign, there's some great videos out there. And I was watching the litter lessons and the show and get to know the Red Plastic Cup. Tell us a bit about the campaign and some of those characters. That's pretty neat.
So Red Plastic Cup, he thinks he's a movie star.
Uh-huh.
He thinks he's just the greatest thing ever. So he started off with a talk show, and then he got a movie. And in our movie, he got, more characters, and we had experts, water quality expert was Sal, the smallmouth bass.
Yeah.
And his bodyguard is Trash Watch. And if, we can go into Trash Watch a little bit too, but love Trash Watch.
I just didn't know if you were going to give us some headlines there. I was like, oh, is McMurray back? McMurray's coming back for, have you ever listened to Friday Mac Attack?
I have listened to Friday Mac Attack.
You're participating in it today.
I do know. I know we talked about it yesterday, and there was a tease of whether or not we were doing best players for Alabama and Georgia. And there was also the tease of best holidays.
I'm betting we're going to go toward best holidays.
From what we talked about, and according to my knowledge of Alabama and Georgia players.
That'd probably be the better.
Yeah,
the better
just a
of the
little
two. That's coming up at 2:05 this afternoon. Your telephone calls right now as we've got Jay St. Clair on the line with us. I've got to clean one real quick thing up, Jay, because I am being inundated right now on the super text line with this cleanup. Sterling Marlin is actually from Columbia, Tennessee, or just outside of Columbia. And some folks are saying Columbia, some folks are saying Spring Hill. And that he, and one person told me that he was, hold on, let me find this again. Sterling's he cut his teeth at Duck River Speedway and Thunder Hill. And and that was one person. Then the other, this is funny, 8280 says, Matt, this is Danny. You need to take Jay's racing license away. Sterling is one win away from being the all-time winner at the fairgrounds. Well, I'll be darned. How about that?
Wow.
Who knew? So there you go. So, yeah, Sterling.
Shame on me.
Well,
I
no.
had all that wrong.
Well, no. I mean, no, Tennessee, but Columbia just south of Franklin, south of Nashville. So that's pretty cool.
I know Columbia well. Yeah.
All right, Jay, let's get into it. Let's get to a couple of telephone calls. Jay is with us. Scott's on the line in Tullahoma. Scott, you've got a question for Jay St. Clair.
I do. Hey, good afternoon, guys. About a year ago, I was involved in a head-on motorcycle collision. I was on the motorcycle, and I tangled with a DUI driver.
Oh, no.
And this was her seventh, count them, seven.
Oh, no.
Seventh DUI. And she was on a revoked license, but still driving nonetheless. The civil case is resolved. We're still involved in the criminal side. And I'm just sickened by the fact that the plea deal that she's being offered is 2 years. She's been in jail for 1 year. She'll serve just under that, so about a year and 10 months, for a seventh DUI with two people injured. I mean, I got life flighted up to Vanderbilt because of the injuries. I'm alive. I'm grateful for that. But what have we got to do legally to change the laws in the state to make these kind of people go away for a very long time? She's going to kill somebody.
Wow.
Yeah, no. How are you? Are you fully recovered? Do you have any permanent
No. I'm 69 years old, and I'm going to have problems walking for the rest of my life.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear all that.
So she's going to walk. She's going to walk free and clear before I can.
Yeah,
that's awful.
Well, that's very cleverly said. But we don't need to change the laws. The laws are in place. We need to change the prosecutors and the judges.
Well said.
It's just what we're seeing, in these other cities and states around the country. That person could have been sentenced for many, many more years, but the prosecutors decided to cut this deal. Were they in conversation with you about it? Did they ever ask your input, or did they seek your approval about it?
They did, and I've made it real clear that I think they're just taking the easy way out. Plea it out, don't take it to trial. And they're telling me this is the best they can do.
How long was it? Pardon me, Jay, for interrupting you there. Scott, how long did this person receive?
It's a 2 and 8, so 2 years in jail, 8 years probation, with the carrot dangling that if she does something during those 8 years, she goes back to jail to finish serving out the 10. And frankly, I don't believe it. I mean, she'd have to do something real serious to be put back into jail.
Which jurisdiction is this in?
Did you hear? Yeah, Scott. What jurisdiction did this happen in?
I'm in Coffee County.
Okay.
Well, that's surprising.
And I've already.
If it were in Davidson County, here's part of the problem: the criminal justice system is overloaded. Yep. It's just a fact; it's overloaded. They cannot take every case to trial. They just physically do not have the time and the manpower to do it. And so plea deals are a necessary part of the criminal justice system. But that doesn't mean that you have to get results like this. It's not changing the laws. It is changing the people who are enforcing the laws. And in this case, it's the prosecutor.
Well, and we've just recently, and Scott, God bless you. I appreciate you, and I hope that you're as healthy as you possibly can expect to be now and in the near future. Jay, we're dealing with this in Davidson County with Glenn Funk, the DA in Davidson County, going soft on criminals, letting them out, allowing them to utilize loopholes regarding mental competency in order to get back out on the streets. And we recently had a young woman at Belmont University that died as a result of a stray bullet.
Yeah. Right. No, I followed all that story. And I saw where you had I think it was the state representative from the House side that said, well, we tried to fix the law. The Senate wouldn't go with us.
Right. That's right. Well, that's just an awful story. And it is the byproduct, I think, what he went through is a byproduct of an overrun system, right?
No, absolutely. There's no question about it. They've got to have more resources, and then the prosecutors have just got to be tougher, man.
Yep. And look, you don't win. And Jay, hold on there. We're going to get back to Jay and Dan and Gail and other telephone calls in just a moment. You don't win necessarily elections by campaigning on this, but we need to get back to building prisons and enough jails to house those individuals that commit crimes against others, like the previous caller, in order for them to get their appropriate punishment. We should not lessen the punishment based on availability. We should make sure the availability of space is there in order to give them the appropriate punishment for the crimes committed. It is 1:32, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We continue after this. Let's talk about the structural foundation of your home for a moment. I bet you don't get that question every day or get that comment every day, do you? But I think it's important. If you're a homeowner and you live in the state of Tennessee, odds are that you've got some hilly topography around your home. That's going to lead to water drainage and potentially to water issues within the home. I'm talking about waterproofing the home or not waterproofing the home. Standing water, musty smells. These can affect the foundation of your home. And when that happens, friends, you're in a world of hurt. You need to deal with the problem on the front end to make sure that those problems don't get worse on the back end. And that's where United Structural Systems come in. They're never going to upsell you on anything. That's not what they do. They have over 25,000 satisfied residential customers in Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. All of those customers will tell you the same thing. They come out, they diagnose the issue, they tell you exactly what's going on, and then they work to assist you in repairing it for the least amount of money possible. It's what they do. One of the reasons they have that 100% satisfaction rating, because they do what they say they're going to do for the least amount of money. Since 1994, you can trust USS, United Structural Systems. Give them a call today, 615-488-7855, 488-7855 for USS. Online, USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We continue. Good afternoon, 1:37. In the midst of, if not the, certainly one of the favorite segments every week on the Matt Murphy Radio Show, and I have precious little to do with it. It's Jay St. Clair. It's Friday, where Jay answers any and all of your legal questions, and we, generally speaking, have a pretty darn good time. Jay, let's go to Lindsay, I believe it is next. Lindsay, you're on with Jay St. Clair. Good afternoon.
Hello, Jay. And
hey, Lindsay.
Matt, I am a DUI offender.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, it's a number 1, and it was 6 years ago. And I feel really bad. I think his name was Scott. Whoever was let out 7 times, yeah, that's, somebody needs to deal with that. But what I can't deal with is, getting my license back. The court made an error. Listen, the court made an error, and they said that I had 2 DUIs, and the judge signed I did all the fines, all the classes, everything. Wow. And they said, oops, we said she had a number 2, but she really only had a number 1.
Right.
Everything was signed, but I go to the DMV, they won't take it.
Right.
So you're
I've
trying
got a certified copy.
Do you have an attorney, Lindsay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Lindsay, is this is a problem you're not going to be able to solve by yourself. You can't find City Hall and these kind of things. You've got to have a lawyer. If the lawyer you have has not solved this problem, you got the wrong lawyer.
Yeah.
I guess so.
It's clerical error,
because
and you need to find a lawyer who can correct the clerical error.
Well, my original one did, and she said she sent and faxed and everything. And I'm sitting here holding copies of it with the judge's signature on it, and they won't take it. So I don't know what my recourse is.
Well, your recourse is to get a better lawyer. I mean, you're not.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do this on your own. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm just telling you that's the way the world works. And
Thank you.
Said that, did the first lawyer, did he or she tell you the problem was solved?
Yes.
Well, you might go. How long has it been since you talked to that lawyer?
Oh, a couple years.
Oh, goodness.
So that's just not going to work. You just got to get.
I just let it go. I felt like persecuted, and I was ashamed for the first DUI, but I definitely should not be accused of a second one. And I can't seem to get legal again, no matter. I paid $1 billion worth of fines. I went to every class and thing they did, and it's just a clerical hang up.
Yeah, no, that's right.
But I can't.
Right, but you're not going to be able to do this on your own. I'm so sorry to tell you that. I wish that wasn't the case.
Okay. Because I've tried.
And Lindsay, I've got to let you go because I can barely hear Jay with your phone on top of him. So I'm sorry, Jay. Go ahead. You were saying you just can't do it on your own. You got to get a better lawyer, right?
Yep. No, she's not going to be able to do that on her own, man. She just got to get a lawyer. There's just certain things that are that way, and this is one of them.
Well, I get it. Gail is next up in Bradyville with Jay St. Clair. Gail, what's your question or comment for Jay?
Well, hello, Matt and Jay. How are you?
Doing well.
Nobody has been able to answer this question for over 3 years. On January 6th, I was watching the proceedings on national TV. 2 objections were made against some states on the electoral votes. And then to me, a Democratic planned attack happened to disrupt these proceedings. All this was shown on TV all day and half the night. I get up in the morning and I find out that Pence validated the electoral votes, no accountability. We don't know who was there. We weren't allowed to watch. Did they violate our rights as American citizens? Because we don't know who was there. What happened to the 2 objections?
No, it's a great question. I guess I would say this. There's no constitutional right to have televised governmental proceedings. Where was happening, the government has to be open to the public, unless it's some top secret thing being done. I think this was during the pandemic, so there were some rules about restriction. But you have the right to petition the government. That's in the Constitution. But I do not believe it violates the Constitution to choose not to televise governmental proceedings, and I think that's really what you're saying here. There's no constitutional right to watch something that's going on someplace else.
Because where's the accountability?
Well, the accountability would be the people that are there and the other people involved in the proceedings, the congressmen and the senators. And then if there's anybody there that's allowed to be a witness, but somebody that's 1,000 miles away, not broadcasting that to them, in my judgment, does not violate their Constitution.
And I think there's, Gail, my understanding of it is there's a requirement for there to be a congressional record documenting the procedures. And I think toward your question, where is the historical accountability? It would have to go into that congressional record. Now, some people are going to question that, and I get it, but I'm just trying to help Jay answer your question.
But you know what I'm saying, though, Matt.
No, I do. I do, but I also understand, Gail, that the events that happened on January 6th were unprecedented, regardless of where you are on them. They had never happened in this country before. It had never happened that a proceeding such as that had been overrun by a group of people, regardless of where you are on all of that. So I understand that they were good people were trying to do the best that they possibly could in that circumstance, and there were probably some bad people that were trying to take advantage of it. And I'm not saying who's who there, but thank you for the question, Gail. Jay from the super text line 3420 says, I have an uncle. Oh, no, wait, hold on. No, that's an old one. Never mind. Legal question for Jay. In 2013, I hired a lawyer to do a conservatorship for my mentally handicapped son. Every few months, that is, they keep telling me that they'll schedule it and then nothing happens. He says that he prepaid. Boy, that's 10 years ago. Wow. What recourse do I have to do? Do I need to get a second lawyer and sue the first lawyer, go to the bar? And he said, yes, hanging my head in shame. It has been 10 years now.
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing I do is go to the bar because that doesn't cost you any money. And you'll file actually a grievance is what they call it against the bar. Start with the bar. It doesn't cost you anything. The bar is generally really good at policing their own. And so just start there, and maybe at the very least you'll get your money back. But it's been 10 years, so it sounds like you do not have the conservatorship in place. But I guess you've been okay without it. I would not have this lawyer put the conservatorship in place. You may have learned by not having it for the last 10 years, you don't really need it. But if you want one, I would not have this lawyer do it. Absolutely, the first thing to do is call I assume it's in Tennessee, call Tennessee Bar and tell them what's going on and how do you go about filing a complaint against this lawyer. And they will be very helpful to you.
Next question, Jay. If a person has a sole proprietorship or sole proprietor business in Tennessee and passes away, is that person's spouse responsible for the business's bills? And by the way, as I ask this question, I would note it's pretty fascinating that Jay St. Clair, and I know you would never say this, Jay, and I will, because that you get asked these questions and you have the ability to answer that. I'm fascinated that you have such a general knowledge of the law. But anyway, if a person has a sole proprietorship in business and they pass away, is the spouse responsible for the business's bills?
Well, I guess I know more about law than Sterling Marlin. I am so embarrassed about that.
Oh, no, you mixed up East Tennessee, and
I don't know why I had that in my mind. But so anyway, here's the answer. If it's a sole proprietorship, then it's the same as personal property, and so the short answer is no. That is a debt of when that person passes away, then What was the question? It was about
is the
debt?
spouse responsible for the business's bills?
No. That's his. Unless she's the owner of the business, probably not. It's his estate. So think of it like your grandpa, man.
Right.
When he passed away, well, the bills that he owns for that were his bills. Well, you aren't responsible for that. It's the estate. The estate is this kind of fictional entity. And so you have to open up an estate for it, in probate court. And then if there's money, if he had enough money, then those bills are paid. But no, the wife's not legally obligated. The answer is no. And
Very
the answer
good.
is Sarah Marlin's from Middle Tennessee.
I knew that would gnaw at you. So if you let's see, if you never went to court, I hope this makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me, but it probably will to you, Jay. If you never went to court for a civil matter, how is it okay for them to garnish your wages after they said? All right. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I can tell you what happened. He got sued, and then he just never went to court. Well, when that happens, you get a default judgment entered against you.
Mm-hmm.
You got sued, and you just didn't answer it. You just ignored it, is my guess. Based on the way you phrase this question.
I've got a follow-up. 9058 says they sent it to the wrong address, but they still had court.
Okay, well, then he needs to go there either by himself or depending on how much money's involved and say, I never got served. I never knew that this existed. I have not been served. And here's the answer. In the garnishment case, you can assert that defense. But I'd actually go back to the original case. I'd like to know how much money's involved, but let's say it's, a few $1,000s. Maybe in a small claims court. You didn't even know you had judgment entered against you. I would go back there, but also in the garnishment case, you could step in there and say this judgment's not correct. But you got to go back and get that judgment set aside. You have, I think, up to 2 years, for that kind of clerical error. So I'd be getting on that case. I'd get the court, get the file, maybe able to do it yourself. If you can't make any progress, call me. I'm available on the internet. Nobody is secret anymore, and I can kind of help. Talk.
Good for you. Jay has helped many, many people over the years. It's Jay St. Clair, and Saint is ST. Clair, and someone was asking about your name on the super text line earlier. Anyway, all right, a couple of quickies. One is from last week, and one is about last week. All right, okay. Mac Maury, I hope you're listening up. Make sure Maury's listening. So the first one has nothing to do with Mac Maury. The second one will have something to do with Mac Maury. Jason wants to know if we went without canned cranberry sauce for Thanksgiving, is that grounds for divorce? I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Well, I think I would turn that around and say that if you were served canned cranberry sauce, is that grounds for? I would never let cranberry sauce become a major issue in any kind of relationship. That's not a hill worth dying on.
Well, for some people are serious about the cranberries, apparently.
Well, they need to readjust their priorities.
And Sally has written in from Sunnyside, and this will be our final question today. Sally asks, Jay, can I sue Matt? And I'm going to go ahead and include Matt and Mac Maury for preempting Friday Mac attack last week. And
absolutely. Sally, it takes two things to file a lawsuit: crayon and $400.
There it is.
Here, there's this thing in the law called judgment proof. Don't sue somebody unless they got some money to get. So I don't know if you shoot at the right target.
Well, I know one of the parties involved is a little light. The other party involved, regularly goes to Kansas City Chiefs games.
Okay.
Jay,
no.
I mean that guy's got cash. If I were Sally, I'd go after the guy with the money, and that guy is Mac Maury.
You have the wisdom of Solomon, man.
Thank you, Jay. Jay, have fun this weekend, my friend, and I'll be. We'll talk about next week, but I'm rooting for you next weekend, and enjoy the Snowball Derby.
Go Dogs!
Hey, I did you hear it there? I heard it. He said, "Go Dogs!" He said it. Love it when my friend makes me smile like that. Oh, Jay knows. Oh, look.
No, honestly, go Dogs. I'll be with them.
Can we not all unify around our hatred of the Alabama Crimson Tide, regardless?
Right.
Yeah, come on.
You're right. No, you're right.
152, Super Talk 99.7. That voice of Mac Morey will be on the news in about, 8 minutes or so, and then it's Friday Mac Attack time, and I'm going to call an audible.
Oh.
I think we should do both. What we were going to do last week and holidays. I think we should try to get in both on Friday Mac Attack.
Yes.
Now it's Mac Attack. It's not Mad Attack. It's Mad Attack. But that's my humble suggestion. We will consider it momentarily on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. Have you ever thought about why we invest in the stock market? Well, you often hear because we want to protect ourselves from inflation. Well, what is inflation? It's prices going up. Who's raising prices? Companies. What do you own when you own stocks? You own the companies raising prices, so it helps protect us from that. The other thing is this. Think about the most successful people you know. They're typically business owners, and you get to be a business owner when you invest in the stock market. Now, if we think about the stock market, a lot of people worry about, well, what if the stock market drops and it never comes back? Well, this is another thing that I like to explain to people. If the stock market goes down and it never comes back, what does that mean? That means that earnings went down and they never came back up again. So earnings went down. If earnings go down, what else goes down? Taxes go down. If taxes go away, what else goes away? The government goes away. If the government goes away, the FDIC goes away. So think about it, everything is built on the stock market. That's why I don't ever worry about the stock market going down. Everybody has the same goal in mind when stocks go down. Get it to come back up because we got to get earnings to come back up. Now you have two things at your control to get earnings to come back up. One is sales. We can change what we're selling or sell more of whatever we have if we can. And if we can't do that, we can reduce our expenses. And that's exactly what companies do. You'll notice that they lay off people when things get bad, and hence that is why the stock market has recovered from every downturn throughout all of history. Now, if you want to learn more about our approach to investing in financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call or call 615-851-1950.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We've discussed the debate last night. I've not gotten into, by the way, it's the Matt Murphy Show. Thank you for being with us. Friday Mac Attack coming up at 2:05 or thereabouts, just after the McMurray newscast. And we'll visit with Brian Wilson later on, find out how Grogu, Solo, the rest of the animal kingdom over there in beautiful Watertown's doing. For those who missed the libertarian lunch, I thought the debate, it was compelling to me. I appreciated it. Maybe I'm just a nerd and I like that sort of thing. I thought DeSantis outprepared Gavin Newsom. I thought DeSantis destroyed Gavin Newsom. That's for people who are knowledgeable about these things. Gavin Newsom stood on stage, and when presented with objective fact regarding crime in his state, regarding flight out of his state, he simply denied that those facts were the case and tried to cherry pick other matters. In the meantime, we have not. George Santos is out. Representative Santos of New York is no longer a representative, as he has been booted out of the House of Representatives, considering the mountain of evidence against him regarding campaign violations. That's all well and good, frankly. There's a manifesto update that I need to get to. The Tennessee Star presented that as the parents in the case have now, it has been determined by a court of appeals, can be a party to the case. And I want to talk a little bit about this respiratory illness in dogs that we're seeing in Middle Tennessee. One Nashville veterinarian says that he's not seen a lot of cases of it, and he doesn't want you to get overly concerned, but there is some modicum of concern around Middle Tennessee. We'll do all of that next in the final hour of the week on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Two o'clock, I'm Mac Maury with your top stories. Currently 59 degrees, a cloudy day on Music Row, off and on showers, and expect a lot of the same this weekend. Tell you about it. Complete forecast just 2 minutes away. New York Republican Representative George Santos is out of his role in the House of Representatives today. Lawmakers believing Santos' documented history of fraud disqualified him from service, ultimately leading to the 311 to 114 vote to expel him. Liz Landers has more of the criminal charges Santos now faces.
This fall, the Department of Justice brought 23 felony charges against Santos for alleged crimes like wire fraud and identity theft. But a 50-page House Ethics Committee report released last month revealed even more damning details. Investigators claim he used campaign funds for his own personal enrichment, including rent, designer clothes, and Botox.
And Santos' removal slims the Republican majority in the House now to 8 members. An active investigation in Tennessee. Murray County deputies are looking for a man who robbed a market at gunpoint last night. It happened around 8:30 p.m. in a Coley's Market. That was when a man dressed in all black came in with a gun. He took the cash from the register, then left. And officials are now asking for any information possible from witnesses to that crime. And bail has been set at $500,000 for a Las Vegas man accused of hitting and killing 2 Nevada state troopers who were on the side of Interstate 15 yesterday, helping a driver. Alex Stone reports on the court appearance.
Veteran Las Vegas hotel bell captain and valet Jamarcus Williams appeared emotional, looking down as prosecutors laid out the events they say led to Williams hitting and killing 2 Nevada state troopers on Thursday morning. He had allegedly been drinking all night at the Palms Casino, was kicked out for being so drunk. Security told him not to drive, so he allegedly acted like he was walking away, hid behind a tree, and then returned and got into his SUV. Prosecutors saying in court,
he has the wherewithal, even when intoxicated, to hide from security so that he can get into his vehicle.
Then they say he hit and killed the 2 state troopers.
And that is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Mac Maury, WTN News.
Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. Let's talk for a moment about your pain. Well, I don't want to talk about your pain. I want to talk about alleviating your pain through the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief. So, chiropractic care. Let's talk about when Dr. Gill started his practice some 30-odd years ago. It was spinal in nature, obviously, but things have changed so much. Now they do a lot of soft tissue remedy to help you alleviate pain in soft tissue ways through their laser therapy, through their Class 5 systems, through their red light therapy that they did not have when Dr. Gill started the practice so many years ago. But he's been bringing brand new technologies to our Middle Tennessee area for years, really generations now. He was the first to bring spinal decompression technology to the area, and now most practices utilize this. Dr. Gill simply does it the best. So they're offering new patients, if you say pain relief and say, my name, Matt Murphy, new patients can get a special discount on their initial consultation to find out what's going on with your body and how they can alleviate that pain without the need for pills and without the need for surgery. That's what it's all about. Give them a call at 615-882-4838, 882-4838 for the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief in Franklin. Yes, indeedy. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show getting underway for another hour. Thank you for being with us. It's our final hour of the week, and we're very excited because I know what time it is. It is the first day of December, December 1. That would be the first day of December. It's our episode 466. Lots going on, and we're covering it all for you. I just want to answer a couple of questions from the back end of the last hour, and then we'll move on to Friday Mac Attack, which I'm very excited about. So, no. To answer your question, and some have a lot of consternation because George Santos has not been convicted of any crime. And some are suggesting, well, how in the world can the House of Representatives usurp the authority of the individuals in the elective process as they selected him as their representative out of New York? I understand the concern. I understand the fear that this sets a precedent. The expectation is that the evidence is so overwhelming and great that he will be convicted of criminal campaign violations, and that at that time that he would be removed anyway, so they're going to go ahead and remove him and find someone new in New York. I understand why the concern is, what the concern is. This is not unprecedented, but it has not happened since, I think, Civil War era politics. Secondarily, John has written in. John's a longtime listener, a great communicator on the Super Text line. John, we do appreciate you out of Lawrenceburg.
Thanks, John.
Say, John.
John Lawrenceburg's great. Yes.
He's fabulous. John said, hey, Mac.
Hey,
how's it going, buddy?
Hey, yeah.
When'd you get here? I'm kidding. I know you're here.
Always here.
Matt, have you understood a purpose for the debate last night? John in Lawrenceburg. John, the purpose is conservatism versus liberalism. The stated purpose of the debate was you have a governor of California and a governor of Florida. It was not designed to be a national debate, although because Ron DeSantis is running for president and because Gavin Newsom is essentially running for president in case Joe Biden flames out, it became a presidential debate. But the purpose of the debate was to debate the politics of the individual states that they represent, Florida and California, and whether or not their brand of politics and their political ideology advances the interest of their state best. That was the purpose of the debate. It was an entertainment, style. I mean, outside of that, what's the purpose of any debate? So I hope that answers the question there. How's it going, McMorris?
It's great. It's Friday.
Yeah.
December, getting closer and closer to that time, man. A little Christmas action. It's happening.
What does McMorris hope that Santa brings for under the tree?
Some money on Xbox Live to buy some new video games would be good.
I feel like such an old man. I feel like such an old dude. I barely got into that. I still had a PlayStation, and I don't remember what iteration it was, but I remember when I learned that you didn't buy games anymore.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you downloaded them.
You
it was like what's it called? The Sony. What's that world called?
Well, I don't know for
this
Sony
was years
because
ago.
I'm not PlayStation. I'm Xbox.
Okay.
So.
Are you a PlayStation guy?
I bounce back and forth. I have both consoles. I'm an Xbox person preferably.
Yes,
but
correct.
I do own PlayStation.
What's the world called in Xbox? Isn't there like a place that you go and you buy all your stuff?
Or what it's called the Xbox Marketplace.
Okay, there you go.
Marketplace, yeah.
You go on Marketplace, you find your games, you download your games. You don't have to go to a store. You don't have to buy the games that way anymore. Okay.
I still personally like a physical copy. I don't know why. It's just
that's
what I've grown up with. And like my dad had the Super Nintendo growing up. And so like holding the cartridges and stuff like that, blowing them out to make sure they were clean.
Exactly. we all believed that worked.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe it worked. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. I remember. Oh, no. I remember if you couldn't get this, for those of a certain age, you'll know exactly where I'm at on this. Tecmo Super Bowl. You guys way before your time. It was not Tecmo Bowl. That's the first, and it kind of sucked. Tecmo Super Bowl was the second iteration of it. And then there was a number 3 where you could create yourself, which was pretty cool. So you could create yourself and put yourself on a team and play on it. I mean, come on.
That's awesome.
It's so good. But Tecmo Super Bowl, my roommate threw a television out of our apartment over Tecmo Super Bowl.
That's amazing.
Because we would play, like, Tecmo Super Bowl was NFL, and you could play a team. And so we would play seasons. So we would, like, get together, like, 3 or 4 guys.
Oh, yeah.
And you would play a season. So occasionally you would play each other, but for the most part, you're playing the computer.
Yeah.
But then eventually the idea is once you get to the playoffs, you're going to play each other, and it's on. Well, my good friend Caleb Boyd was playing. I think it was the Dolphin. We wouldn't have let him be the Dolphin. No, I remember what it was. We were playing this season where you could pick any team you wanted, but you had to play their backup quarterback.
Ooh, that's great.
So he chose the Dolphins, and he was playing the backup quarterback, and he met the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. We like Wayne and I had knocked ourselves out or whatever.
Who's your go-to team?
Everybody wanted to play the Raiders because of Bo Jackson.
That's fair.
Who was it? The Cardinals were a good team. The Falcons was a good team because they weren't that good, but you could make them good.
Yeah.
Because there was this honey spot. The Packers were great because Reggie White would blow through any offensive line and just destroy quarterbacks. Because the cool thing was they kept records. They kept season records. And so we tried to build our stat. Oh, it's awesome. Tried to build your stats up.
That's pretty good. That's awesome.
Oh, back in the day, and I think.
Oh, I would have nerded out on that too.
I think I'm correct that at one point playing Reggie White, I had like over 100 sacks in a season. It was like, it's ridiculous, right?
It's not real at all.
No, it's completely unrealistic. But I mean, we would have scores on Tecmo Super Bowl of like 90-3. We'd just destroy the computer.
Yes.
So Caleb gets to the Super Bowl and is playing the Eagles.
Yes.
And the Eagles, he was QB Eagles because some of the quarterbacks, like Joe Montana, he had his own game, so they wouldn't say Joe Montana, they would say QB. The big thing about Tecmo Super Bowl was that there were real players, right? And they had licensed through the NFL. But certain players who had other licensing agreements. So Randall Cunningham was just QB Eagles. And QB Eagles, he kept doing this bootleg run, the computer now. And, like, we destroy the computer every time. But Caleb could not win this game. The game was not going to allow him to win. And it was obvious. And so we're doing that. We're drinking beer and laughing. It's funny. And final play of the game, it's like a minute or so left in the game. Eagles got the ball. Caleb's up by like 3 points. Got to stop him. And he does this QB Eagles run around and scores the touchdown. And Caleb's so ticked, he takes the TV and throws it out the window.
And it's not one of those flat screens that are like, easy. It's the beefy one.
Of course. Beefy television.
That's amazing.
And it was funny. It was so funny. And then I realized it was my television.
Oh, no.
Caleb bought me a new TV, though.
Okay.
That's good. That was good of him. Anyway, it's all that said, you know what time it is, Mason? It's time for Friday Mac Attack.
Yes.
A whole segment of Cougar Chow.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Friday Mac Attack on the Mac Murphy Show.
Mm-hmm. Statman says the Lions with Barry Sanders and Tecmo Super Bowl was pretty good. That is true.
Sounds
Thurman
awesome.
Thomas was unstoppable. The Buffalo Bills. Nobody was better than Bo Jackson. Anyway, I'm getting a lot of commentary. There's a lot of old people that listen to the show, obviously.
I never played the NFL Blitz until like a few weeks ago.
Like in the arcade? NFL Blitz?
Like
I guess they have it. Oh,
yeah,
okay, sure.
N64, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
It's great.
That's fun. Slam guys to the
Slamming guys after the play. Yeah, exactly. It was great.
You know what? You and I need to get together, and if we want to get sleepy, we can have some gummies involved. But I have Tecmo Super Bowl. I bought an old player, an old NES player, and it didn't work. And so they have like new versions of the retro that the games work in. And I have Tecmo Super Bowl, and it's still a lot of fun.
That's great.
No, I'd love to play.
Mason, you want in?
I'd be down
on this. Okay.
Yeah.
One of these weekends.
No,
one of
let's
these
do it.
holiday weekends. Get together with the youngsters.
Yes.
And y'all will get bored in like 3 minutes. This is stupid.
The graphics suck.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
What are we
I think we do maybe one round of Thanksgiving sides.
Okay.
Maybe 2 rounds.
I'm down.
Let's do 2 quick rounds of Thanksgiving sides, and we'll do a full draft of holidays.
Okay, I'm down. All right. Do you know
Rapid fire.
Do you know how we do the selection? How we pick the draft order? All right. You are going to You're going to hold numbers behind your hand, and you either do basically a 1 or a 2.
Okay.
And so we're basically playing odds or evens.
Okay.
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Reveal. Okay,
Nice.
it's me, baby.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
Dang it. All right.
And then now y'all
pick.
go.
Yep,
Okay,
here we
okay.
go.
And no,
I guess?
No, you guess. Mason, guess if he's odd or even.
I'm going to go even.
Yeah, I got to do better at this. People know what I'm doing, and they know I'm even. I got to get better at that part.
I'll close my eyes next time.
That's fine. I'll save my
All right,
draft.
so me, so Mason, and so Matt Marsh. So you want to do Thanksgiving sides first?
Yeah.
I'm going first.
Going first.
It's dressing. Thank you.
That's easy.
That's
Cool.
easy.
Yep.
Yeah. My Thanksgiving side, number 1 draft pick is dressing. Oh, so delicious. Mason, your side, please. By the way, you don't know this. You can do stuffing if you want, but it has to come from the bird.
It's okay. I'm not going to.
Okay, go.
I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go with the classic mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
But like baked mac
really
and
good
cheese.
pick.
Not
That's
like
a solid
Yeah,
pick.
not some
baked.
like Kraft.
Yeah, you want like
out of the
crispy,
box. Yes.
multiple cheeses.
Absolutely.
Oh, with
I'm
just
lactose
with the-
intolerant, and that is what I break. That's what I break
You're
it
like,
for.
screw it.
My grandma's mac and cheese had this like sheen of buttery something. Oh, so
that
good.
sounds amazing.
So good.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Breadcrumbs on mac and cheese, yes or no?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm all in on that.
Yeah, I
Cool.
can do
Because
that.
I've seen a lot on TikTok recently. A lot of people are like anti-breadcrumbs. I'm like, really? It acts like another like.
You could ask me breadcrumbs on X. It probably, that sounds good.
The answer is sure.
breadcrumbs,
I could go without, but I'll go with
Who's cares? Yeah.
Breadcrumbs on what? Breadcrumbs on poo. Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. I'd make poo better.
Got a map for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Super excited I'm getting this pick. This may have been my first overall pick. Dressing, it's really that close with dressing with me. Green bean casserole. Love
such a
green
good
bean
one.
casserole.
That's a good one. That's pretty good. All right, I'm going on. Are we doing 2 rounds?
Yeah, 2 rounds.
2 rapid fire rounds?
Yeah.
I'm going to just go ahead. So you've taken mac and cheese, you've taken green bean casserole. Those are 2 good things. I'm not a sweet potato souffle guy. No thanks. So I'm going to go off the board, and you guys are going to look at me funny, but I think this is much needed at a Thanksgiving or Christmas table. I'm going to go Brussels sprouts. I don't even care. Look at me the way you want to look at me. I don't care. I don't care. how you look at me. I don't care.
Expect there was is there an explanation?
I like Brussels sprouts.
I mean, they're good.
I do too.
I like
I like Slim Jims. I'm not going to mention it on the Thanksgiving sides. I mean, what are we talking about? This is ridiculous.
I would have gone mac and cheese. I would have gone green bean casserole. There's my picture off the board.
There's A-listers here, Mason.
Corn casserole. I bet if you're going corn casserole, I feel you. Go ahead, Mason.
It's amazing. I got to go. We talked about it earlier this week. I think I'm going to go smoked turkey.
Okay, smoked turkey's not a side.
Not a side.
Not a
Main
side.
course.
We're going.
And sorry, that is my.
That's okay, Mason.
Listen,
all right, you get. I understand. You're embarrassed as a general manager.
Roger Goodell read the pick. He said,
like,
wait, we can't do that.
You can't have Joe Namath.
Yeah, exactly.
Joe Namath is 90 years old. You can't have Joe Namath. So you're gonna have to pick again.
All right, then I'll go with. Gosh, I can't think.
Brussels sprouts don't sound so bad anymore, do they?
Yeah. How about like classic rolls? Like bread rolls are good.
Yeah.
Rolls are good.
Rolls are
great.
It's got to sop up gravy and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Crap. Okay, go. Just
mashed
take
potatoes.
Yeah,
I'm going. There's an A-lister sitting here, guys.
I was thinking about
but
it.
Nice job, Brussels sprouts, man. Hey, that's.
The sour look. Holy cow.
I'm looking out for my weight on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so there's your Thanksgiving Mac Attack, which we were unable to do. Deviled eggs is a good one. A lot of people are saying deviled eggs, and that is a good one.
Good call.
And I feel quite foolish. And we I think we tried to stay away from rolls or breads generally, although we did establish that rolls were unacceptable.
Yeah, rolls were acceptable. Absolutely. Yeah. Rolls is a good pick.
Yeah. And like, I was thinking about mashed potatoes. We don't do mashed potatoes at my house.
Fair enough.
We do either diced or like cubed potatoes and more cheese. So it's a cheese potato really casserole. Yeah. It's so good. It's the same thing as mac and cheese, and the only two things that I ever break for is Thanksgiving.
You put some breadcrumbs on top of that? You should try it sometime. I don't know.
It's a good combo.
Really good. Yeah. I'm going to put some breadcrumbs on top of my Brussels sprouts, and y'all can't have any. So
put gravy on it. That's pretty good.
There you go. You're going to be all bloated later. Oh, man, Brussels sprouts wore off. I got room for pie.
No Brussels sprouts.
I probably should have waited till the third. Brussels sprouts were supposed to be my third pick.
It's a third round.
But we condensed the picks, and it's
still a good pick.
Right.
All right, what's the official selection today? That's not even the official selection, right?
Yeah, the official thing we're going to draft today is holidays.
Okay.
Tis the season.
All right, quick break. Come back on the other side, and no news tease. News coming up at 2:30. Mac's here. Mason's here. Matt's here. We're playing a little Friday Mac Attack, lightening the load, getting you ready for the weekend on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
We really are passionate about our state. It's so beautiful, and we just want people and all Tennesseans to help us keep it that way. We really want to make sure that, our beauty, and from, west to east to even middle Tennessee, we want to make sure it's nice and clean for everyone to enjoy. I like to get people to volunteer and to get out there and keep our world clean, man. Litter's disgusting. No one likes it.
That's right. Yeah, if you ask my wife, I've always said, keep Tennessee beautiful. That's kind of been, I think I found a T-shirt or something a long time ago.
It's that marketing.
Yeah.
Really good job.
It's like, I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no sense in throwing your trash out the window or when you're hunting or fishing, leaving the trash there on the bank or whatever. It's not worth it.
Currently, there are 88 million pieces of litter on Tennessee roadways at any given time in this state.
Wow.
And TDOT currently spends $23 million on picking up the litter, educating about the litter.
The Nobody Trashes Tennessee campaign, there's some great videos out there. And I was watching the litter lessons and the show and get to know the Red Plastic Cup. Tell us a bit about the campaign and some of those characters. That's pretty neat.
So Red Plastic Cup, he thinks he's a movie star.
Uh-huh.
He thinks, he's just the greatest thing ever. So he started off with a talk show, and then he got a movie. And in our movie, he got, more characters, and we had experts, water quality expert was Sal, the smallmouth bass.
Yeah.
And his bodyguard is Trash Watch. And if, we can go into Trash Watch a little bit too, but love Trash Watch.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Here's what I'm going to audible to. We're going to reflect on draft number 1. Mac's going to go do the news, and then we're going to draft number 2 after the break.
I think that's a good idea.
Is that good?
That's a good idea.
Are y'all good with
Yeah,
that? Because we're
that's
doing
good, 'cause then we have to
We're doing a
hurry.
2 for 1.
Yeah.
We're doing a 2 for 1 because we had breaking news last week that we needed to get to. So one of the reasons I say that is because of the amount of responses, and most of them are laughing at me for picking Brussels sprouts, and that's okay. That's okay. I like Brussels sprouts. You don't have to like
That
Brussels
is
sprouts. That's
correct.
fine. I'm going to stand by. You'll see. Brussels sprouts is going to come on by the end of the season and be really strong for my team.
Household name, Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, well cooked, extra breadcrumbs. We're going to be sailing.
Somebody said Matt picked Mr. Irrelevant for his number 2 pick, Brussels sprouts. Like everybody ignores Brussels sprouts on the plate or on the table, rather. Dressing, a lot of dressings, and a lot of oyster casserole. Twice baked potatoes, yeast rolls, candied yams, a lot of deviled eggs. We never did deviled eggs for Thanksgiving. Did you guys?
I've had them, but no, not really. Wasn't a big family thing. Someone else that works here, saleswoman, I can't remember her name, but yeah, she's talked to me before Thanksgiving. All in. Deviled eggs. Going to make some extra.
And we're a deviled eggs family, but deviled eggs start for us. When I was growing up, deviled eggs made an appearance at Easter, and then all through the summer, Memorial Day, 4th of July, whatever food, meal you're eating for a special occasion, deviled eggs were there.
Yeah, that's when I saw them, or maybe even like the Super Bowl as like a side. For
For
sure.
Dig that.
Heck yeah.
Twice baked potatoes, yeast rolls, a lot of yeast rolls. Okay. Hash brown casserole. Hash brown casserole for
maybe like a breakfast thing, because my family does. My family does
Breakfast.
breakfast and a dinner thing. We don't do it in the middle of the day. Yeah.
See, I that sounds fun. More eating's great, but I try and not eat at all before the big meal.
No, like we used to do it the classic way where you eat at like 1 o'clock.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
We eat at 11 for breakfast, and then we ate at like 6 or 7 for like the full.
Oh, then you got to stay up till midnight for your leftover turkey sandwich.
That's so true. Yeah.
See, but that's what I look forward to the next day.
So this year at the in-laws, and E's outside right now listening to this radio show, so she can confirm because she had to deliver me something today.
Oh, hi.
Hey, I'll be down in a second. This year, so we wake up Thanksgiving morning, right? Macy's parade's on. Bob and I stayed up late. I mean, real late till we talked till like 2 a.m. or whatever. It was ridiculous. So we got up a little later. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, he smokes the turkey, right? And we are always like a 1 o'clock family. And so I'm like you. No big meal, maybe just enough that I'm not, going crazy because I'm getting ready for the big meal.
I'm eating.
And so it's like, I don't know, it's 11 o'clock. And someone mentioned, hey, you have the turkey on the smoker, right? No. I know.
What?
I know.
Whoa.
I'm like, what do we? Oh, no, I forgot. Oh, forgot.
This is the event.
This is the big one. So that's 4 hours. So we didn't eat till 3:30.
Oh, well, that changes your food plan.
And it changes the entire plan.
The entire schedule.
And so you got to reschedule. You got to regroup. You got to figure out what you're doing early.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you know what I did? I stayed my butt up. I watched football. Everybody else went to bed. I watched football Thanksgiving night. I stayed my butt up until I was hungry enough that I ate my leftover
midnight
turkey sandwich. Absolutely. Okay, news is coming up with Mac Morey, and then we're going to do the actual draft for today. I hope you enjoyed this. It's our 1 hour where we have a little bit of fun. I mean, we try to have fun no matter what we're talking about, but we just put politics aside for a minute. We have a little bit of fun on the Murphy Show on Friday Mac Attack. So Mac's got the news headlines for you that you need to know about, and we're back after this with the official Mac Attack draft, which is holidays. We'll do that next on Super Talk.
$2:30, I'm Mac Morey with your top stories. Currently 59 degrees, little cloudy, little wet today. Could see a lot of that this weekend. We'll tell you what tonight and this weekend looks like. Full weather forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Some conflicts reducing the potential impact of the latest global climate summit, this time in Dubai. Here's Tom Rivers.
It's hard to focus on things like climate targets when more pressing concerns, like the continued fighting now in the Middle East, grab worldwide attention. Attending the COP28 gathering, many leaders, including British Prime Minister Sunak.
The breakdown of the truce today is deeply disappointing, not least because a growing number of hostages were coming home. I pay tribute to the role of Qatar in helping facilitate these efforts, and I hope that the process can be resumed.
Many attendees concede that the wars in the Middle East and Ukraine could make cooperation on the climate front even more difficult.
Some crime in Tennessee. Channel 4 says that a man connected to a homicide led officials on a police chase last night. It ended in the arrest of 32-year-old DeMarco Locust, who was charged with the shooting of 26-year-old Razai Dashti. According to a witness at the scene that day, Dashti was involved in an ongoing fight over narcotics. He died after being taken to Vanderbilt Medical. And a fast food giant making some changes. Brian Clark with details.
Quality, not speed, appears to be the new focus at McDonald's, which is reacting to more competition by going back to steps it had sacrificed to boost efficiency. Wall Street Journal says some of these steps include cooking beef patties in smaller batches so they get a better sear, using more special sauce, and incorporating a buttery brioche bun with sesame seeds. The company believes that all U.S. restaurants will have this new menu in place by early next year.
And that is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Mac Morey, WTN News.
Hey, friends, Matt Murphy, Efficient Heating and Cooling, is on my mind because, well, it's getting colder. And anytime you have a change in the seasons, I think about the maintenance on your unit. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being with us. 2:37. A couple of the headlines you need to know about. The Elon Musk story is just hilarious. So Elon Musk made it real clear that whether it's Disney or whomever it might be, he's not going to be blackmailed to change the manner in which he conducts acts. And toward that end, he, well, if you've seen the clip, you know, it does it a disservice for me to bleep it. But he told Disney basically to go bleep themselves. I mean, well, I'm not even saying he did it, but he said that. He said it. Go yourself. 615-737-9986. That's a pretty funny story. George Santos is out. Manifesto update is simple. The an appellate court, I just want to get to a couple of these stories before we get back to Friday Mac Attack. A Tennessee appeals court has ruled that the covenant parents may intervene in a lawsuit seeking to prevent the release of the covenant manifesto. Tennessee Court of Appeals ruled that a group of parents can intervene in the lawsuit seeking to compel the release of the manifesto written by the covenant school killer, affirming a lower court's ruling. The 17-page order, I've not read it. I want to read it, and we'll go over it Monday. The appellate court ruled to affirm the trial court's judgment, allowing intervention, sent the case back to Davidson County Chancery Court for further proceeding. The court's previous decision to allow the parents to intervene prompted that appeal. Michael Patrick Leahy is one of the plaintiffs in the case, and we've had Michael Patrick on the show on numerous occasions. I know he's been on with Dan Mandis quite a bit on Nashville's Morning News. And he says that the Chancery Court ruling to allow the intervention was a clear violation of Tennessee statute, as was today's ruling by the Court of Appeals. We're evaluating our options and may include appealing directly to the Tennessee Supreme Court. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to reach out to Michael Patrick Leahy over the weekend, and maybe we can get him on Monday to see if he has come to a further conclusion. Is he staying in there? I'm going to get to Caleb real quick. Are you going to stay in there for the second round?
I think for at least the beginning. I'm almost ready.
You actually have news duties, don't you?
I am doing some work, yes.
I understand that. Well, just give me the thumbs up when you're ready to go. And I'm going to talk I'm going to talk to Caleb real quick because Caleb's been wants to talk about the debate from last night between DeSantis and Newsom. Hey, Caleb, hope you're well.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. What's on your mind?
Having me on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been listening the last few weeks or so, tuning in. Shouts out my dad's one of his favorite shows, but I'm really left-leaning, and I'm just hearing things all day, every day I disagree with. I'll probably talk my girlfriend's ear off enough about it, so I'll talk to you guys about it. But I watched the debate, and we could get into it. Could talk about the abortion or the immigrants. But can I say something about RFK real quick?
Can you say something about whom? What?
We've been talking about RFK Jr.
Oh, RFK. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think it's funny we keep talking about he appeals to conservatives because he's against experimental jabs and stuff. I think he likes one experimental jab, steroids.
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you go about that naturally or not, but.
But yeah, I'll talk about the debate. I'm like a nerd like you a little bit, I guess, on the other side though. So it was pretty interesting to listen to this morning and stuff.
Did you watch it last night, Caleb?
Yeah, I watched it.
What did you? Just give me your assessment of the performance. Who do you think won? Who do you think lost, and why?
Well, I can go by policy or personality. You know, it's kind of both with these debates. They're entertainment, as you said. But I thought DeSantis came off so. He was pulling, I don't know what I can say on the air, but nudity out of his pocket and pulling out the poop map you talked about. And it's like, that's just gross. Like, what are we doing here? But
let's do the pornographic material, the genderqueer book, right? So it's an interesting dynamic. And you're seeing this around school boards across the country, where there are school board there are institutions that want to insist that we keep these materials in libraries where what I would consider age inappropriate children have access to them. And so the point is, when family members, when parents bring these things up in school board meetings, is to demonstrate that in an adult setting, these adults that want to make sure that these kids have access to this material won't allow you to present the material in that adult setting, yet they want your child to have access to that material in their libraries. I think that's kind of the point that DeSantis was trying to make.
Well, his Don't Say Gay and his mission to be the band guy is just ostracizing these people that we coexist with and telling them that they're wrong for being who they are.
Right. So what is your understanding of what is commonly referred to by the left? And I get it, and it doesn't stick in my craw like it does in some, but you call it the Don't Say Gay bill. Do you know what that legislation does?
You can explain it.
Right. So you don't have any knowledge of what the legislation signed by Governor Ron DeSantis.
I'm aware of DeSantis' beliefs and how he's going about doing all these bans and passing big.
No, what it prevented was that age inappropriate material be used as a part of classroom curriculum within the class. It nowhere in the legislation does it say that you can't say gay. Secondarily, nowhere in the legislation does it prevent a teacher from having any one-on-one discussion with a student regarding sexuality. What it does say is that you cannot have sexual-based discussions with your classroom at a particular point when it is determined by the school and by the school board and by the elected representation that it is inappropriate to have those discussions. And that is sexual discussions of any nature, heterosexual or homosexual.
Okay, I would ask you, is it inherently sexual to be gay?
No.
Okay, then can the teacher be gay and talk about their man-to-man partnerships or female-to-female?
I do not believe that a teacher should bring up their sexuality, heterosexual or homosexual, to school-age children, period.
Well, it's just interesting to me because we're so normalized with hetero stuff that a female teacher can be pregnant and we don't bat an eye, that we understand that not to be inherently sexual.
Well, and once again, circling back to the legislation did not prevent teacher-student discussion about any of these matters. What it prevented was creating curriculum that surrounded itself with sexually oriented materials.
Yeah, I mean, if that is the case, we all understand that it's like pre-fifth grade, post-fifth grade is kind of the barrier here. I don't think anyone's in favor for sexually educating people.
Well, Caleb, let me ask you this because I'm a little bit time limited. Do you know what the poop map was in reference to?
Yeah, in Seattle.
Well, it's San Francisco. Yeah. There's a city-run app that gives people the ability to denote on the map where human beings have defecated on the streets in San Francisco. Do you think any city where they have rampant human defecation on the streets is a well-run city?
No, I'll go ahead and tell you I'm on the left, but I'm critical of the left, and that's one of Gavin Newsom's biggest problems is homelessness. And if he can't figure that out, he's always going to be defending California, not running for, we all know he's...
That's a huge... Well, yeah, we know what he's doing. Well, look, Caleb, here's what I want to do. I want you to please call me again. I want these discussions to continue. I want you to, hold your nose or... do whatever you need to do to keep listening to my show.
Hey, I will happily.
And please, I want to continue this dialogue because I think we can help each other.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate you. Caleb, a self-described liberal, listening to the radio show, said it was one of his dad's favorite radio stations, and he wanted to give it a listen, and I appreciate that. I think I have that right. Hey, Mac Morey's back.
Hey.
You know what it is, Mason? You know what it is? It's round two. Round two, baby. It's Friday Mac Attack. two.
A whole segment of Cougar
I think I may
Chow.
have just spit on you. I'm sorry
It's
if I
the
did.
Friday Mac Attack
That's very-
on the Mac Murphy Show.
I saw some fly, so I don't know where it
It's
landed.
okay, yeah, it's okay.
I hope it didn't land near you. Anyway, it's round number 2 of Friday Mac Attack, but we've got to go very quick.
Very quick.
Because, lots to do. Lots to do. You've got news. I got things to do.
Yeah,
Brian
you gotta talk-
Wilson's going to be around. He's going to tell us what he's doing this afternoon.
Of course.
All right, what's round 2?
Draft and holidays.
Okay, so we'll just keep the same draft order. Is that cool?
Yeah. Oh, no, actually, I don't like that. Let's do evens and odds. You did it for a second. No.
I know. I kind of like where I'm sitting.
I know. No.
All right, yeah, it's ready? All right, ready? You ready? All right, 1, 2, 3, go!
Okay.
You were a little late there, Mason.
He was.
All right, ready?
Okay,
Ready?
okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3, go! Mason's first.
Mason.
All right,
All right,
all right, go.
Odd.
Yes. All right, stupid. I'm last. All right, we're drafting holidays. The draft order, as just determined by us, will go Mason, Mac Maury, and Matt Murphy. So, Mason, you get to go first.
All right,
Holiday
I do
draft.
want to ask, because I asked Mac earlier for clarification on what we're doing as actual holidays. Because I looked at National Hot Dog Day. Some people would consider
Star
that
Wars Day.
Yeah, I was like,
stupid. That's stupid. Okay, that's stupid.
No, it's very stupid.
Don't you think it's stupid?
I love how blunt it was, and that's stupid. Okay, continue.
You know, that's fair. That's fair. But I wanted to touch.
I
on,
mean, fine. Then I'm gonna draft National Matt is awesome, love him, adore him, and give him money day. I mean,
yeah, it's a great day.
I agree. I don't Mason.
I just wanted to.
I just said that just to see how you'd react. Brother. I'm sorry.
It's a great day.
What, National Hot Dog Day?
Yeah. No, it's not what I'm taking, but I wanted to clarify. So, I didn't know if there was a set number of ones that we're doing.
No, I mean, if you want to go Arbor Day, have at it.
That's great. Fine, yeah.
Take it.
Yeah, it's not going to be on my list, but yeah, go for it. Okay, cool.
Look, if you want to select National Hot Dog Day as your big day, in the way that you celebrate it, which I assume would be to eat a couple of hot dogs, which you can do any day.
Yeah, but it's just special.
I mean,
you can give gifts.
Listen, do you put up a hot dog tree and?
I mean, listen.
Yeah, hey, don't slander the hot dog tree.
We drafted patriotic movies one Friday, and Bell drafted Captain America. So really, we've reached no bounds.
Anything's available.
Yeah, okay,
for it.
yeah. First
That's
overall pick over to Mason.
All right, Mason, go.
I think I'm going to nail it down. Christmas Day.
Yeah,
it's a great first pick.
I mean, it's like the king of holidays.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to make a mistake. That's a good pick.
No.
Of course
I was bounced between a couple, and I mean that's the go-to for sure.
I love it. I don't think there's a bad first round selection in this bunch. I agree. It's going to get interesting. Round 3 is going to get a little interesting. All right, Mac Maury, go.
I'll take Thanksgiving.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, both Mason Fleming and Mac Maury obviously hate their country. I'm going to go 4th of July. I'm going to go Independence Day.
I almost did
it is the birthday of this fine country that gives us wonderful organizations like Supertalk 99.7 WTN. So I'm going to go 4th of July.
Well, that was my other pick that I was going to swing towards.
Now's where it's going to get weird.
Sure.
All right.
I think the other one is going to my second pick.
Mm-hmm.
Going to go Halloween.
It's a good one.
That's a good one.
I like it. It's a good time to get together with friends. We all make time during our weeks to hang out and
candy.
Now that we're done with
drink responsibly.
Now that we're done with
gummies.
Christmas and Thanksgiving, we're basically into the drinking holidays.
Yeah, that's
which
the
is every
parties.
other holiday.
Yeah,
It's the party holidays. Okay, I know which one I want you to pick, and I know which one I don't want you to pick. But I'm just going to go ahead and say, go ahead and pick.
New Year's.
That's fine.
Really?
That's fine.
Interesting. Oh, I love New Year's.
That's fine. And New Year's, also known as amateur night. I don't go out. No, that's good. I mean, that's good for you. That's a perfect pick for where you are in life.
Oh,
I'm 50 years old. You know what I do on New Year's? I stay at home, have a couple of drinks, and go to bed at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, before midnight.
Yeah, whatever. I might wake up. Whatever. Pick number 2 for me. My name is Matt Murphy. St. Patrick's Day.
Nice.
I love St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day is awesome.
I do. I love St. Patrick's Day. It reminds me of good things, wonderful things. Okay. Mason, very quickly, round 3. We do 3 rounds normally. Go.
Yeah. Okay, round 3, I think I'm going to go with Veterans Day because I appreciate our veterans, and I always watch Saving Private Ryan with my dad.
Sentimental on round 3, so he's got it in his.
That's what I was going to take.
So smart.
I always watch Saving Private Ryan with my dad on that day. It's a great Yeah,
it's a good holiday.
That was my first overall pick in the patriotic movie draft.
It's a good holiday.
It's a great movie.
McMorey?
Arbor Day is still there.
You know, can I take? No, Super Bowl Sunday is not a holiday.
It is not. It is not.
We're stretching the boundaries.
In my
here.
house, it is. Let's go Mother's Day.
Oh,
because we want to recognize all those
Maury's
lovely mothers.
probably listening, and because I love Jesus, Easter. So
yep. You know what?
I'm going to go Easter. So I think we all kind of got in. We got in a sentimental a personal or spiritual one. We got some fun in there, and just like it.
Yeah, it's great.
There you go. I think I'm the clear winner. It's 2:52. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. Have you ever thought about why we invest in the stock market? Well, you often hear because we want to protect ourselves from inflation. Well, what is inflation? It's prices going up. Who's raising prices? Companies. What do you own when you own stocks? You own the companies raising prices, so it helps protect us from that. The other thing is this. Think about the most successful people you know. They're typically business owners. And you get to be a business owner when you invest in the stock market. Now, if we think about the stock market, a lot of people worry about, well, what if the stock market drops and it never comes back? Well, this is another thing that I like to explain to people. If the stock market goes down and it never comes back, what does that mean? That means that earnings went down and they never came back up again. So earnings went down. If earnings go down, what else goes down? Taxes go down. If taxes go away, what else goes away? The government goes away. If the government goes away, the FDIC goes away. So think about it. Everything is built on the stock market. That's why I don't ever worry about the stock market going down. Everybody has the same goal in mind when stocks go down. Get it to come back up because we got to get earnings to come back up. Now, you have two things at your control to get earnings to come back up. One is sales. We can change what we're selling or sell more of whatever we have if we can. And if we can't do that, we can reduce our expenses. And that's exactly what companies do. You'll notice that they lay off people when things get bad, and hence that is why the stock market has recovered from every downturn throughout all of history. Now, if you want to learn more about our approach to investing in financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call or call 615-851-1950.